I think we should probably leave Endgame stuff for the end, so we can be professional and be like, no spoilers, guys. We'll talk about it at the end.
The official ban lifts tomorrow.
Does it? Oh yeah, because they impose they're like, you're gonna talk about it now.
Yeah, and people have been beaten up because of it.
Wait, what?
You not heard of
I think
this?
that's fake. I think that's fake.
No, it's real.
I think that's fake. The Chinese man who got beaten up, I think that's fake.
There's also
Call
stuff with
bullshit.
people at school.
There's also a woman who apparently cried so much she was hospitalized, and I think that's fake as well.
Why-
They all conveniently happen in China, where we don't have much news on that, and it's just like, whoa, that's a funny
And
headline.
it also made $255 million or something stupid like that. Didn't it make more than that? It made like $400 million.
It was
in the weekend.
350 or something.
Come on, that.
Yeah, and it opened worldwide to 1.2
1.2
billion. Yeah,
It's probably gonna get
Yeah,
2
what's that
billion.
percent?
I think it's gonna get like 2 billion tomorrow. I think.
yeah, that's insane, isn't it? It's gonna outgross Avatar. It really probably will.
I don't know about Avatar. Titanic, probably. Oh my god, it's 2. It just hit. It just went
Oh
2.
my God,
It just had a massive fucking jump.
Alright, it's gonna be after.
Oh my god, it's actually beat Titanic.
Oh my
That's the
God.
first. Nothing's beat Titanic.
I checked
since
this-
19. Oh,
I
what?
checked
I
this
just wanted
last.
to check.
I checked this last night, and it was like under Infinity War last night.
Guys, this is like a huge moment. This is like when I
We're
first.
I'm gonna-
watching history.
I'm
This
gonna
is
tell
when-
my kids about
This
this.
is when I first.
Alright, it's
Like,
probably
when
gonna be after then.
it's like when I first fell in love. I mean,
Because the thing after and I guess Titanic had going for it was just longevity.
I was thinking about this.
well,
a
I had a
lot.
re-release as well. I had a free
Yeah.
re-release.
Well,
it was like
like if
300
it's
extra
the
million.
second weekend and it's already second.
I was thinking about a lot of like how Avatar got to number 1, and really no one remembers it.
Yeah, it sucks.
No, yeah, it's not a good film. It's just the tech that was cool.
Yeah, and I think.
It spread because the word of mouth was, "Oh, go see it in 3D because that's quite cool."
Ticket
But I was thinking
prices
about
were
it,
also
and-
higher.
Yeah, price is also higher.
Yeah, and I don't even remember there being much talk about it. I hadn't seen it in cinemas,
That's one thing.
and I was just like,
I think I saw it twice.
I bought on
Was that
DVD.
twice?
I think so. I remember seeing it, and then I think we went again because it was just like, "Oh, 3D's so cool."
It is cool. It had a re-release as well. Do you remember that? It got re-released.
Yeah, I remember the
literally
re-release.
The same, like, well, it came out in 2009, December 2009. It got re-released in 2010. So yeah, and it cost even like the budget for that movie was huge as well. It astounds me that Cameron got given that amount of money just to basically do this new IP. I know he has a track record of making hits, but it's a really weird like premise.
I mean, people say the same
It's
thing
just
for like,
honest.
yeah,
Yeah, well, it is. I know, but it's like, give me $400 million to make this. I would be like, no.
Well, like the big selling point for him was just like, I have this tech that I want.
yeah,
to
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the actual film itself is completely uninteresting.
Yeah.
You do
because
that.
Titanic was basically the same thing, where it was like, I want to build the boat 1-to-1 scale essentially, or like 1-to-2 or something, and then, and then everyone said that was going to fail, and make no money, and then that became the biggest grossing film ever.
It is difficult to bet against James Cameron.
It's very difficult.
But I'm going to bet against him for Avatar 2, 3, and 4. because,
Well, I mean-
because fuck off.
I bet against him for Alita Battle Angel, which he produced and wrote. He's a writing credit on that movie, and that movie was I think a flop. I mean, like 404 million on like 175.
That's still a lot of
budget.
money.
175 mil budget plus marketing.
It's not.
Still a lot of money.
It's
actually-
not Cameron money though.
No, it's not Cameron money. It did not. It's Robert Rodriguez's highest grossing film, which is not really much of a stretch because what's he got?
Spy
Sunset
Kids,
Dawn.
baby.
Hmm?
Spy Kids.
Spy Kids. Yeah, it's outgrossed the Spy Kids movie as well. Amazing.
Spy Kids was the best.
But they had 4D.
Do you ever see Spy Kids 4D out of time or
Was that the
whatever?
one where you got a card and you smell
Yeah,
it?
you scratch the sniff,
You smell the dog
and they
shit.
were just farts every time.
I mean, that's pretty funny.
That's like 4DX though.
I
You see the
remember.
Hellboy one where they're going to spray water on you for the blood? The CG blood?
Oh yeah, you did that.
I didn't do 4DX, I'm afraid.
Oh.
I'm not loose. Hello everybody, welcome back to the
Welcome to the Green Hill
Podcast.
Zone. Welcome to the official Sonic fan cast.
Should we start Sonic the Hedgehog podcast?
We're
We
the
really
official
should.
We should
Sonic
call it
fan
Green-
cast. We're the Green Hill Zone, baby. We've got to go fast to the top of
My
the
name is-
podcast
The
chart.
grass is always greener, and the Green Hill Zone podcast.
My name is Dr. Eggman, I'm here today with Tails and Sonic. Right, well, no, my name is Dylan, I'm here today with
Are you pointing me or Lawrence?
you.
I'm Fergus.
I'm Lawrence, baby.
And we're going to talk about some fucking movies.
I
aren't we?
saw a movie. It was called Train to Busan.
Alright.
You seen this, Dylan?
No, I've not seen Trade.
Lawrence, you have.
I love zombie films, and it's an excellent zombie film.
I don't like zombie films that much unless they have the words Sean in them. That's about it, to be honest. But no, Train to Busan. It's a really, really good movie. And I know I'm very late to this game, since everyone else came out maybe 2017, 16? Something like that.
I remember my sister telling me about it, because my sister is abroad in that end of the world. I remember her coming home telling me about this film called Train to Busan, and I don't trust my sister for film things, so I was like, yeah, whatever. And then like 2 months later, I was like, what's this film, Train to Busan? That's a good film.
I had the same thing where like I really love South Korean movies, and then everyone was like, "You seen Train to Busan? It's from South Korea." And no, I haven't watched many movies. And I'm like, why? I try and watch every like South Korean movie that gets like popular, and then it's the one film I don't see, and then everyone sees it.
Yeah.
But no, it's a really good movie. There's a lot of Dylan, I did the budget. I did,
You did my
yeah,
my
I
job.
did. Just to interest you,
Okay.
it was made for $9 million,
Yep.
and it looks like $100 million movie.
Really?
It's a really, really good looking movie.
Good stuff.
There's a lot of cool things where they incorporate the whole like the thing popularized by World War Z, where it's like all the zombies kind of like mulch together.
Yeah.
They form like liquid. There's a lot of scenes where they do that, where like they're all banging against the door, and then it smashes in, and they all kind of like blunder in at CGI. But then when they cut back to it, it's all physical people getting out of the pile.
I'm gonna watch this.
So it looks really, really
good.
cool.
That sounds
There's
really good.
so many moments where the tension is just like unbelievable.
They've got that cool thing with the is it when they go into tunnels? That's when they can start moving about.
There's a
They
lot
can't,
of, like-
they can't see very well. I think the zombies.
They introduce a lot of new like zombie rules, and that really like just really slight changes, and it like really makes it a whole new experience. And the fact that it's all set on a train, where it's basically like there's points where it's like, oh shit, the people we've got to rescue are in this carriage, we're in this carriage, we have to get through like 5 carriages to get them all full of zombies.
Does that sort of like zombie thing with film where this one character is just a bit of a dickhead and causes a lot of problems because he's just like, oh, I want to do this and stuff. But they do it quite well.
They do it really well. So yeah, the main story is basically a father who's kind of estranged from his daughter. Him and the daughter's mother were divorced, so now it's kind of a thing where he's just basically trying to buy her gifts to buy her affection back. But then she's like, oh, I want to go and visit my mum in Busan. He's like, oh, fuck it. Right, fuck it. Because his mum's like, should take your goddamn daughter to Busan. Stop being an arsehole. He's like, fine, take my daughter to Busan. So they get on the train to Busan.
You've been planning that. Since you started the plot summary, you've been planning that.
We've been planning that for 2 weeks. So then basically gets separated from his daughter and has to like save her. But the whole like every other character is really interesting. There's like a bunch of other characters, like a high school baseball team. There's another like it's probably the one. It's pretty much a rule where every zombie film now has to have like a pregnant woman who is like on the verge. But this is the one movies where like I feel like it was actually good, and they're really good characters.
And there's
Better than
is
Bird
it her
Box.
husband who's like the big dude?
Yeah,
And he's just
he's
fucking
so cool.
badass.
He's
like,
so cool.
just punching the shit out of zombies.
Oh,
It's
he's fucking
cool as fuck.
great. He's so good. And he's like straight up like just calls the father. He's like, "You're an absolute arsehole." Like to his face. It's amazing.
Wow, that sounds- where can I watch it? Where can I watch
It's on Amazon
this?
Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Amazon
Excellent.
I think it might be on Netflix as well. I can't remember.
I think it used to be. It's on American Netflix. But we're in
Which
Britain.
is where
We're in
Zac
British.
Efron's new Ted Bundy hit is on,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we don't have it here.
No, we don't. We've got on Now TV, which is owned by Sky.
You're the only person I know, Lawrence, who has no TV. Apart
Yes.
from
That's where I watch
What
Game of
else is on
Thrones
it?
and
Oh,
Walking
right.
Dead. It's quite good stuff, like because it's things that basically anything that's not on Netflix gets on Now TV here
fair enough.
because it's like HBO and AMC they all go to Sky. Because like Sky have the rights for that stuff.
You know how my thing is box office, and everyone makes fun of me for it because it's all I talk about.
Yeah.
Lawrence's is film distribution.
Okay, yeah, I'm very interested in streaming distribution.
It's the worst nicknames. Like gangster nicknames. Mr. Box Office.
I'm
Mr.
always-
Distribution.
no,
And
I'm
I'm like, I'm Mr. South Korean films sometimes, but not all the times.
The way streaming distribution works to me is so interesting. Like when Cloverfield Paradox came out, that was such an interesting marker for me of like how
Yeah.
things can be done. Even though it's a terrible film,
Yeah, it's terrible, yeah.
I'm still staying up at 2 a.m.
It's still
and
like-
watch
Fergus
it.
has never watched it. And you tell me this, we were in Lidl, and you were like, I've not watched it. And I kept making jokes about the man full of worms.
Yeah,
It's a
It's
terrible film.
the
But I
day-
stayed up at 2 a.m. and watched it because of the way it was announced.
But
Yeah.
no, because I was gonna do that. I remember, I was like,
remember, yeah.
it was gonna come out, and I purposely like skipped uni that day because I was like, I'm just gonna watch them all. I'm gonna watch all the Cloverfield movies, a big marathon, and then all the reviews came in, and I think you watched or something said it's shite. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not doing that. I'm still gonna skip uni and not watch any of the watch the Cloverfield
I
movies.
watched it.
And then at Film Society that week, you were just like, okay, here's all the moments, and you just skip through the whole film. Like, here's this bit's kind of cool, that bit's dumb, and then you just basically show me the whole movie
Did I really?
in 10 minutes.
I
Yeah,
don't remember that. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need to watch it anyway. It's terrible.
This is a bad film.
Yeah, but the marketing is incredibly
I
interesting.
couldn't like it was. It's that kind of marketing that it would have cost a lot because basically they had one ad in the Super Bowl, which
Yeah,
I know
it's cool.
that's quite a hard spot to get.
It
But in
is.
terms of like how films normally are marketed, it's like a massive whole thing. This is just okay. We've got here's a trailer for this film. By the way, it's out now, and it costs a lot. Costs a lot of fervor. It's the whole reason I watched the film. I was like, oh shit, Cloverfield film. Yeah, I'll watch that tonight.
it's a shame that the movie is terrible because it is still one of the coolest marketing
Oh,
ideas
my God.
ever. And if it was a great movie, then it would be like, then I'd be like, I want all movies to be
Do you
marketed like
remember
this.
the hype? Do you remember the hype? We were on the chat together, all talking. I was like, we were all watching. I think because I was on like, because I don't actually watch the Super Bowl.
No,
I had like
obviously.
Collider or something with the news, and I was like, oh, there's a new Cloverfield movie. It's just got a trailer. The trailer's
Yeah.
online like almost instantly. Right
Everyone was like,
after.
holy fuck, this is gonna be so cool.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it was like late at night it got announced, so we were all like at uni or whatever the next day, just being
Yeah.
like, oh,
It pointed
Yeah.
to me a very specific thing that streaming could do,
yeah,
which regular cinema cannot do,
Right,
which
exactly.
is, hey, here's a film, it's out now.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so interesting to me that they can just do that. It is a real shame that the film was complete shite.
Yeah, it's really bad.
yeah. It went from being that is like such a innovative way to market that movie, and then you realize, oh, the reason they did that is because they could have done it traditionally because reviews, because it's just
The
shite,
reviews,
and
yeah.
to do it traditionally would have made like.
Well, yeah, as they announced it, I was like, that's such a big move for Netflix to go, we have like a real like
We have a
Hollywood
made-
film,
yeah.
a franchise film.
Of a big established
Even
franchise.
J.J. Abrams produced.
Yes, we
you
have
know,
we have a franchise film. Like this is our mark into the actual like cinema territory.
Yeah.
Oops, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, don't watch Roma, guys. We've got Cloverfield Paradox. What's really interesting about that film as well is that when it came out, there was another one rumored to be, and it became Overlord.
Oh yeah,
And I really think
That was meant to be a.
yeah,
it was.
I think it definitely was. And
But
it's
and I had my theory on it, which I think is pretty much proven
Go on.
right. Where I was like, because it was the whole thing. Like they were like 2 Cloverfield movies are going to come out this year. They were like the mystery one and Overlord, which is like World War One, and then
World War II.
is it World War Two?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's Nazi zombies.
Nazi experiments.
okay,
It's a good movie.
but
I've not seen it. I mean to watch it.
really, do you think it was good?
I
I haven't watched
pretty
it.
solid.
I haven't watched it. So because my theory was because when it just became Overlord, there's no connection to Cloverfield whatsoever now, and so I was like thinking that when Paradox came out, they were like, oh fuck, we have another Cloverfield movie that isn't up to expectations of 10 Cloverfield Lane or the original.
Yeah.
It's not, so if we do 2 like kind of flops in a row, that's just going to ruin the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Ruin our entire reputation. If we ever try to do this again, it's going to fucking fail. So just call Overlord and just cut
Yeah.
all ties.
What's really interesting is
Try
that
again later.
Paradox. For instance, like Cloverfield, after 10 Cloverfield Lane, it basically become Twilight Zone. It's like
Yeah.
different. But then it felt very weird to me that they decided to try and make it this like weird alternate dimension thing. And I think they kind of wrote themselves
They
into
tried
a
to do
corner.
a thing where they try to explain
Yeah.
why things are happening
Right.
and like how it all
Yeah.
works, but they made it kind of they made a bad film
Yeah,
and
very bad film.
which meant no one actually cared about what they said.
Well, because
Yeah.
obviously it wasn't. It was another case of like 10 Cloverfield Lane where it wasn't originally a Cloverfield movie.
No,
It was
called,
just. It
you know
was
what
like
it's called?
the God Complex or something called.
No, God
Paradox?
Particle was Cloverfield Paradox. Cloverfield Lane was called Valencia, and it was also called The Cellar at one point.
yeah.
That's why. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, yeah, and then so
You know, it
I've
was
seen
very late into production. They changed
yeah,
it.
well that's what I've
Very
heard.
late.
It's just like kind of rushing in Cloverfield connections.
Yeah, Dan Trachtenberg, who directed that, who ended up directing the episode Playtest of Black Mirror, the one with the Kurt Russell's son.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so
He also
Cloverfield-
directed the Portal fan movie.
he did.
Oh,
I
I
think
remember
that's
that.
why
Yeah.
he got given
Yeah.
Cloverfield Lane, which was obviously Valencia. Great film, but I love Cloverfield.
Well, yeah, I love
Lane.
and I think
it's an excellent.
I think it
movie.
works a lot better because it's part of the Cloverfield franchise.
Yeah.
Because he's saying this entire time. There's this thing going on outside, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, in my head, I know. Okay, Cloverfield is a thing. I know he's kind of actually right,
Yeah,
but he might also still be lying. It makes it a lot better.
yeah. I
Apart from
think
the,
it
I
does.
still hated the last 10 minutes.
I
where
hate
they
it.
kind
I
of like
fucking hate the
they
last 10 minutes of Cloverfield Lane
try
so
and
much.
chuck in like, oh, it's a Cloverfield film by the way. Here's aliens, and I really hated that.
I didn't
I
mind it.
think
I feel like you didn't need it.
I think the movie
Didn't
should
mind
have
it.
ended as soon as she gets out of the
Yeah.
cellar, and then cellar door closes, cut to black. Yeah.
It turns into a different film
And
for
then
the
it's just
last
like,
10 minutes.
and then it's
It
like, hey,
became
I'm
the-
bored. Let's just have an action movie for a bit.
Yeah, it was really bad.
I hate it.
became that 2005 what's it called? War of the Worlds film.
Yeah.
It
I have
became
a
that at
I have
the
a
end.
file on my computer where I edited that bit out.
Yeah.
I hate it
way
so
better
much.
film. She just gets out, and you're like, so was he lying or not?
Here's the
knows?
thing. Here's the thing. I don't hate that bit, and actually, I quite like it. I like the fact that they just went, you know what? Yeah, it was aliens. Yeah, I was just like, yeah, it's fun. I think it's fun.
It's a different film. Like the main antagonist is gone at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The film is over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know there's a really great part in that movie when she's like looking at the inside and you can see someone is scraped with their nails, like help, and it really does create this great sense of tension.
And the alien?
No. In the when she's still
Oh, okay.
when she's still in the
I was like,
when she's still in the Cloverfield lane. She's still in the
The
underground.
fact that it is a Cloverfield film adds a lot to it.
Hmm.
But I feel like they must have just chucked that last 10 minutes in
yeah.
because screen test maybe it was like,
But, like,
I don't
definitely
get
is.
why it's
I
a
don't get it.
Cloverfield film.
Is this part of the aliens? Or
Where's the big
what's
monster?
happening?
People that are listening, you can't see, but Fergus is lying far back in his chair and squeezing his chin in and doing his impression of a normal cinema goer. That's teeth. That's a little callback to last week. Okay, this all brings us into the discussion of the Ted Bundy movie, right? Which is why you brought up Netflix and marketing and distribution and stuff like that. Do you
Yeah,
want to
let's
explain very briefly why you're so intrigued
So
by
for the
what-
entire rest of the world, apart from in the UK,
What's the film called again? Extremely.
Extremely wicked, shockingly vile. No,
it's a terrible name.
It is
because it's the sentence. It's what the judge
It's what the
comments.
judge said to
Yeah,
Bundy.
Extremely
Yeah.
shocking, vile, and disgusting or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember, something like that.
it's something and vile.
Please wait
in
whilst we
all
Google
terms-
this crap film's
Well, in all
full
terms,
title.
it is the Zac Efron Ted Bundy film.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it came out on Netflix worldwide, apart from here in the UK, where Sky have the rights to it.
Oh fuck.
Fergus is really struggling to get up on his phone.
I typed in Ted Bundy movie and then it recorrected to just Ted Bundy. So I was like, 20 things you didn't know about Ted Bundy. Extremely wicked, shockingly evil and vile. Which I want. That's gonna be one of those fucking annoying things where some critic who's like new in the scene, he's like, I think this movie is extremely vile and he tries to.
Oh, guy, don't spoil my reviews this week on Film Inquiry. Right, on you go, Lawrence. Tell us why you find this marketing so interesting.
Well, it's bizarre to me. So, this film showed in Sundance January this year. Netflix bought it for $9 million. But they didn't get worldwide distribution rights. Sky have it here,
Yeah.
which makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah, so Sky is for American people.
I was
Sky
about to say,
is,
yeah.
Sky is run by Fox, so it's a part of Rupert Murdoch's company.
It's basically like a big cable conglomerate in the
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah, so it has a news channel, so Sky News, and it also has Sky One, Sky Movies. It's actually huge. It's one of the largest. I think it
It's huge.
competes with Virgin and BT for the top in terms of broadband.
Probably,
So it's one of the basically it makes a lot of money.
It's basically like if
essentially.
you're in the UK and you wanted access to a bunch of channels, you get a Skybox.
Yeah, you either get that or Virgin Media. You basically have no other. Like, so I used to have a Sky, and then I got Virgin, and it was like a huge thing for me because I was like, I don't have Sky Movies anymore. You know, so Sky.
I don't want to be a virgin.
Right, okay, that's getting cut out. So Sky, yeah, basically they have these sort of like it's kind of weird. It kind of works like a pay per view. You have to sort of buy the sort of subscription to their channels. So like the Sky Movies,
Yeah, I
you don't
remember
get
Sky
given that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to kind of buy. So we've got a friend Lewis who watches a lot of movies via that. So a lot of people use that in the UK, mainly older people because they don't know how to work the internet. They'll use that over Netflix, right? So that's basically what Sky is. So continue, Lawrence, about this. That was a kind of boring tangent about.
Let me
what it
now
is,
list
the
all.
logistics.
No, just to add to Dylan's. Let me now list all the Sky channels. You have a Sky One.
Alright, okay. Which is, it's like, I'm very confused by what Netflix's plan is. Because Netflix, for a large part, documentaries is a giant thing for them.
True crime
And true
documentaries.
crime documentaries is a
Huge.
huge thing for them.
Making a Murder is
So
one of
this-
their biggest.
Yeah, so this film, Ted Bundy, which they already have a documentary on Netflix,
Yep.
Yeah.
which caused quite a lot of like interest. Like,
Yeah,
there's
it
a lot of
was a
talk
big
about
thing.
it. And then they announced we have this Ted Bundy film coming. But then to then not have that in a specific place is so weird to me that they somehow
Yeah.
lost out on that. I don't understand quite what they're. I
They'll
don't
have-
understand this deal.
Do you think they'll have a deal? So they must be
I
getting
assume
some
it
of the
will. I assume it will
profits.
come
Yeah, I
to Netflix
wonder.
at some point.
Like an exclusive.
But I don't quite understand how they lost out to Sky.
Do you think they lost out, or do you not think maybe they were just like, maybe they think Bundy won't actually get that? Maybe they don't think it has the same traction in the UK as it does in the States.
If I saw all the interest on Facebook and whatever
Yeah.
after the documentary came out about Ted Bundy on Netflix, I assume the interest is here as well.
It was lots of interest, wasn't
Because
it?
I remember seeing articles like,
Yeah.
oh, this is when the Netflix film comes out, and we were like, oh hell yeah, and like your friend comments on it because that's how Facebook works
Yeah.
now.
Your racist friend comments on it and says something.
I don't know why that's weird. Okay,
That's-
but it's,
that's
like the
getting
interest is here, and it's so weird to me that they just kind of fucked it.
cut. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Did they fuck it? Is it
Yeah.
like for the
can't
actual
imagine
deal
it was their-
itself?
There must be like a one-word
I
explanation.
can't imagine
for
it
this.
was their plan.
Well, it just
I don't know how you go to this film, comes out in January. They only spent $9 million on it, which is not very much.
No. For Netflix,
And,
no.
Yeah, and to then go, like you were saying earlier, the Scorsese film is $200 million or something.
Yeah, 200 million budget. Yeah, that's insane.
And how they can go to this and go, okay, here's $9 million, and they go, cool, we'll take that, but also we're gonna have this other deal. Sky's gonna take distribution rights.
Yeah.
Netflix don't just go, okay, we take our deal off the table, or we give you 10 million, 11 million now, and we get exclusive rights worldwide. How is it that it's globally distributed everywhere, but Sky gets it here? It doesn't make any
it
sense.
seems weird. Like I'm wondering if I'm wondering if it's kind of a thing where like it's like a big meeting where Mr. Ted Bundy movie is sitting, and then you have Mr. Sky, Mr. Netflix.
Zac
and-
Efron sitting there for 6-pack, and he's going,
What's
"For
my movie?
For
What's
every
my movie?"
pack I have, that's an extra million you have on."
But then it's like, and then Netflix be like, okay, hey, we'll pay whatever this to have it Netflix exclusive, and then Sky's like, we'll pay you, we'll, well, I don't know, yeah, what the fuck happens there? Like, does the Sky come up to Netflix like, hey, listen, I'll give you like £1 million and we can just have it on our platform.
Unless it
in
is
the
like
UK.
a timed exclusive type thing. But then why does Sky want it so much?
I don't know,
Especially since I've seen no marketing from Sky in.
because I feel
Sky's
like
end.
Sky Movies make most of their money by like they market the whole thing of like you get to see the movies that were in the cinema like 3 months afterwards or like
yeah,
really
the thing
quickly.
Sky
or
has
whatever.
got, like, I have Now TV, which is a Sky product.
Yeah.
And the thing that is better than it, like for Netflix or Amazon, is they do have stuff very
Yeah.
relatively recent after it comes out.
Yeah, but the thing for Sky Movies for me, it always seemed like it's more directed at an older audience. I always got the impression that it was directed at people that don't understand that the way movies are distributed. You know what I mean? Because like you say that you get access to this movie early, you don't actually.
No,
because
but,
it will
like-
actually be released on streaming. It will. You'll be able to purchase it on Amazon for a price. Because it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Like Paramount doesn't give Sky exclusivity of the movie that they.
But in
come
terms
out
of
on
like
Blu-ray.
streaming services, so Now TV is a streaming service, Netflix is a streaming service.
Yeah, okay.
Netflix,
Amazon Prime is a streaming
Netflix
service.
historically has gotten stuff a lot later. Like Netflix isn't one to
Oh,
go
okay,
for.
I see what you mean.
Netflix isn't one to go for stuff like as
Yeah.
soon as it's out, it gets Spider-Verse or whatever. It's
what's
always
the-
way later.
How much do you pay for Now TV? What's the price?
I think it's $7.99 for films just now. They're moving up to $11.99.
Whoa.
Oh,
I remember I got this email. It was like, "Oh, good news, guys!
Good news.
we're moving the price up so you can get even better cinema."
Do you
And
know
I
what?
went, "I'm cancelling," and they went, "Oh, we'll charge you less then."
That is exactly the kind of emails. That's exactly the kind of emails
That's
that me and
funny.
Fergus are used to from like you would have been used to from Unlimited Cinema. So
Oh,
guys,
yeah.
listen, now you're going to get an extra whatever, but we're going to raise the price.
Yeah.
You know, it's like okay, but yeah, no, I think the thing with
That price increase, you just made it so that someone else is gonna have to pay extra to get your Ted Bundy movie.
I cancelled it.
That's
And I
true.
was like, and they
They're
were like,
like-
"Oh, if we can keep you for an extra 6 months, we'll only charge you $6.99 for those 6 months." I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it for now then." But
They
it's
won you over.
$11.99. See you later. I'm gone.
Yeah, that's way too expensive. And how many streaming services do you currently? I mean, like all of us here. I mean, we are just like because we're into this sort of. I think I'm subscribed to everything except Now TV.
I pay for Now TV, which I use. My mum uses. My girlfriend uses.
And you're the one who pays for it.
My dad pays for Netflix,
Okay.
so I use that,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I pay for Amazon.
My dad pays for Netflix. I pay for Amazon. I have Mubi, which is like basically the art house one, but I get that.
Oh yeah.
But that's free included with our studentship,
Oh, yeah.
so I don't actually have to pay for that right now.
Why do you get that?
It's really
That's
good.
amazing. Wait, is it because you're a student?
Yeah, you get it free if you're a
Oh.
student. Which I've been looking at it for a fucking year, just being like wanting to start my free trial or whatever and buy it, and then because it's a really interesting service. Not to go for a tangent, but basically it's like it always has 30 movies at a time. So every day,
limited time, right?
every day a movie gets added, but that means a movie gets removed every day. So it's always in constant rotation of these 30 movies.
It's like the cinema in many ways.
So I think it's really interesting, and it focuses on more art house. But then you get extra stuff. Like right now, Breakfast Club is on there. Sometimes you get David Lynch on there, but then sometimes you get really avant-garde stuff. So it's very interesting. If you're into art house, something that's great. And if you're a student, I don't know. I don't know how it works outside of Scotland, but we at least get it free. So.
Yeah, we being a student in Scotland at least is very good. We get a lot of great deals. So for instance, my Amazon is really cheap. So I pay for Amazon Prime.
We pay half price, yeah.
I used to split Netflix with my, and I don't anymore. I pay for the whole thing now, which is like, but I pay because I want HD because I'm that guy. I'd rather not watch things in 420. I'd rather watch things in not 420, 480. I'd rather watch things in 720. So I'll pay the extra money for the HD, which is like an extra like £3 or something. So I'll pay for that. I don't mind paying for that. And I have a subscription. No, those are my 2 streaming subscriptions. I think I want to get. What's the horror one? Shudder.
I'm really tempted to get Shudder because it's only like $4.99.
$4.99?
Yeah.
I'm getting that. That's something I'm going to do as soon as I get home. Right? I didn't know it was that cheap.
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, we all pay for these subscription services, right? But there's people out there like we're talking about with like with distribution. Some people don't have as much money and they only have one, right? And they really want to watch this Ted Bundy movie, and they've only got Netflix UK, and they can't get access to it because of this bizarre, weird marketing technique, or no, sorry, not marketing technique, this weird distribution. Logistics is very bizarre. It is, and I'd love to know, and I think we will find out what the story is.
I do presume at some point it will come on to Netflix UK.
Yeah, it's got it.
I think it's going to be a time.
It'll be timed. It'll be timed. It has to be. It doesn't make any sense.
It does seem so weird to me that they have this thing that they've kind of gone, not all in on, but they've put quite a lot into it.
Sky would have given. I know what it is. Wait, so you mean that Netflix purchased it, right? They purchased it at Sundance, yeah, for $9 million.
Yeah.
Sky would have bought. I bet Sky bought.
They licensed it.
Yeah. And they paid.
So they bought it from Netflix.
I bet they paid.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, that makes a little bit
Maybe
sense.
they were like, we didn't get on this quick enough. God, we really want distribution. I don't know why, but they, because it's a mediocre movie. But maybe they saw the traction, like you were talking about, Facebook, all this kind of the stuff that marketing teams look at for logistics and economics teams on. Economics, what's the word for that? People that look at like the money behind all this kind of stuff. It's like logistics, right? Yeah. They're looking at this, and they're looking at the kind of, it is marketing. They look at like the traction, like is it trending?
Yeah, because I'm wondering that because
like,
obviously
we need to get on this.
True
like,
crime,
Sky, get on this.
True crime is very popular with like mums,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it might be a kind of thing of like, might be like them trying to desperately get in the late adoption of like, oh shit, we gotta like fucking get into this, like, get in this craze. So let's get this Ted Bundy movie. People love Zac Efron, you know.
And do you know what? They would have paid a fraction of the cost as well because they're like, oh, we only want to distribute in the UK. So we won't steal your distribution anywhere else. We'll pay $5 million, and we'll get distribution in the UK, and we'll give you distribution back, but we take a percentage of the back ends. That has to be what it is.
Potentially.
By the way, so skeptical. We are not business.
Yeah, we should say right. Don't sue us.
I did a 1-year course at Edinburgh Uni on business. I failed it, so I know exactly what I'm talking about.
As someone who spends the majority of their time looking at box office numbers, I can say I think I'm close to being right, but
just looking at numbers doesn't give you the insight.
That's
into
true, I know, yeah.
Endgame made $2.1 billion.
I paid £2 for this can of beer. Jesus.
Look at that waveform.
Yeah, maybe box office doesn't really necessarily have a say on kind of.
Well, speaking of streaming services, I want to talk about how, like, Disney Plus is on the horizon, right? It comes out in like November, I think.
You getting it for WandaVision?
It's just because I was wanting to talk about like the fact that we were talking about how like if you wanted to watch like Stranger Things and the Ted Bundy movie, that means you would require Netflix subscription and Sky Movie. Now it's going to be like, right now you can watch. I think Infinity War is on Netflix or something, or it's maybe in America.
So Netflix in the US.
I think so. But if you're like, right now I can watch Infinity War in Netflix or whatever in the US, but in November you obviously have to pay for Disney Plus or whatever. And so we're getting to the point where like everything is just going to be on different streaming services, and the fact that you were talking about like how many do you subscribe to, it's getting to the point where it's probably like in 5 years, that number's going to be doubled, even tripled.
Yeah,
you know?
But then
it's going to be mental.
If you pay for a TV subscription, like you have a TV,
Yeah.
you pay for a cable box. How much? I have no idea how much you pay for a cable box,
I don't know.
but I imagine it's a lot more. Like I've been telling my mum for ages,
It probably is.
cancel your cable because
Yeah.
you don't need it. Just use Netflix, use Now TV because it has TV shows, it has films, it has everything you need.
Netflix doesn't have Gogglebox and come down with it.
Well, I mean that's the one thing, but like I feel like I remember when we would watch TV, we would watch 5 channels. Yeah, we had like
Yeah.
500 channels, and I was like, "There's no reason to be paying for this."
Yeah.
But the thing as well is that, like, Netflix prices are only going to increase. Disney Plus is originally starting at like £8 or something, but that's just to undercut Netflix at the moment. That's going to jump up, you know. Like, Disney Plus would be a huge success if they just had like the Disney classics, basically. But they're going to start with like Disney, Marvel, Pixar, and also every fucking B character in the Marvel universe is getting a show.
I think
Hawkeye's getting a show now.
I don't understand why. Like, no one. I don't give a shit.
No, and you know, and obviously they're going to have Star Wars content as well. So it's always like it's, you know, be stupid to bet against it.
Do you know DC has a streaming service?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does only in America. Only in America.
Yeah.
Like, you know
Wait, what's
that
on it?
you know that series Titans, like the Gritty show Titans, where Robin's like "fuck Batman," like that's on it. But
that was a meme.
that's
Like,
on.
things like Arrow and Flash.
No, that's
So they didn't even have those.
Those are
No.
CW. Those are CW.
that's CW.
Yeah, CW.
Yeah, they have Titans. They have Swamp Thing, which is coming out.
Jesus Christ.
Which this
Swamp Thing has a trailer.
so it does.
It looks bizarre, but it's James Wan. James Wan produced.
Yeah, I
not
heard it was
directed,
funny
but-
because
I mean, James Wan produces everything now.
pretty much.
Yeah, I saw a trailer and his name came up, and it was from visionary filmmaker James Wan. James
Hey,
Wan.
all Fast and Furious visionary.
James Wan.
How did you get to be a
visionary.
visionary director?
Yeah, do you know Taika Waititi did this whole bit in an interview? Where he was like, "Well, I know I'll make it. I've made it when they start calling me visionary director Taika Waititi."
Like, because Del Toro is visionary, Tim Burton is visionary,
Right.
So you just have to do a bit of a style. Like,
I like it. Like
is J.J. Abrams visionary because he puts lens flares in?
with Ridley Scott, it's just like from Ridley Scott. Yeah, they don't bother with the visionary bit. But yeah, no, it's bizarre. Wait, what were we talking about?
Stream services.
Disney. What was I talking about?
DC.
The thing with DC is, like, for instance, I remember I was listening to another podcast they were talking about. It's like, what could they possibly put on that? It's like
Such a niche service.
you got the Dark Knight. It's like, great. I can buy that on DVD for £3 if I wanted to. It's like, great. I've got the Dark Knight, and I've got Dark Knight Rises.
And I've got Batman vs Green Lantern DVD movie from 2003.
Okay, but then that does bring us to like we're entering into this.
Whoa. And Batman v Superman.
I think you
Dawn of
can. To
Justice.
be fair, I think you can also read comics on there as well. I think.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. Who wants to digitally read a comic? I don't understand. I just don't get it. What a weird service. No one's paying for it. Anyway, go on, Lawrence.
Well, we're entering into this new scape where TV's changing a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's now going to be, instead of you buy cable, it's now you buy different streaming services.
Yeah.
So it's what each one can offer you. So DC
Yeah.
can offer you these things. It's complete shit. Who cares?
Yeah.
Disney can offer you this. It's probably interesting. Netflix, I feel like Netflix is probably quite in trouble.
Yeah.
And they know that. Like, they
Well,
started cancelling all the
yeah.
Marvel
Yeah.
stuff because they knew Disney are going to come in.
But
they're going to take this from us anyway.
Amazon Prime is getting a new Marvel show.
It's already got one.
So I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
got
So I
one.
don't know what the fuck's happening there.
Wait, what was Amazon again?
Like Amazon Prime, they had like one called like Cloak and Dagger or something.
Yeah, I
but apparently,
saw it on my thing
yeah,
today.
they,
I was like,
they're
what is
developing
that?
a new Marvel show, which I was like, what the fuck? Like,
I feel like Amazon is in a
I
weird
feel-
place where they keep having these like kind of. I feel like they're probably high budget shows.
I think Amazon are
that
taking
no
their
one really cares.
they're
about.
taking their time with it. I think like
They've
they're-
got a Lord of the Rings thing
they're-
coming.
That's going to be their
Apparently it's
major
budgeted
thing.
like $500
Yeah,
million.
that's gonna be their giant thing.
A
But
billion.
I still feel like no one's.
What?
$1 billion for 5 series,
I still feel like no
and it's
one's.
getting shot in Scotland.
I feel like no one's really gonna care about
You
it
doing
that
DP?
much.
Are you the DP on it? Sorry, go on.
I still feel like no one cares about it that much.
No, I feel like Amazon Prime is a thing you probably already own just because you got Amazon
Yeah.
Prime, and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, it's got a video thing. Oh, I guess so.
Well, that's the thing. So I go home and I turn on Amazon every now and then. Like my mum's like, let's watch a film. I turn on Amazon and she goes, oh, we have to pay for that one. Why do I have to pay for that one? Because the thing with Amazon Prime is you get Amazon Prime, which means you get some shows free, but Amazon Video is a service.
I feel like they do that
and you
deliberately.
have to pay. And she's
You
like,
definitely
why
do
do I have to pay
deliberately.
for these? My mum's always like, why do I have to pay for these shows? It makes no sense. I'm like,
Yeah.
because we're getting Amazon Prime as a service.
Because I let my mum
but
on.
Amazon Video is a different
I
service.
let my mum onto my Amazon Prime account because I get it cheap. And the amount of times I get like a bill charge where it's like they bought a movie thinking it was on Amazon Prime. or
Right,
whatever.
exactly. So I think Fergus is right, and they do it on purpose. But you can if you're slightly more because older. I've said this before. Older people, this is like it's all designed to take advantage of them. But with on my computer, like for instance, there is a tab called Included with Prime.
Yeah.
Right, and you click on that.
Yeah.
For people like you go, okay, great. Because I was on there the other day, and I'm like, oh wow, like they actually add a lot. Often, like they've got a lot of Woody Allen stuff just got added. I was like, oh wow, great! I'm going to watch.
They're definitely very focused on movies rather than shows. Whereas
are.
Netflix is obviously like big.
But they have shows. They've got that weird one that's based on the Neil Gaiman book, The Gods.
American Gods. That is licensed though.
Is that licensed?
It is good. The first series at least. Apparently, season 2 is really rubbish.
But I think, I actually really like Amazon because, firstly, I pay Amazon Prime. I don't actually pay it for the subscription service that I'm getting for the films.
Yeah, no, because
I'm
it's
paying
an
it because
extra
I
thing.
get
Yeah.
extra. I get
Yeah.
things to come to my house really quickly.
Yeah.
Right, so it's kind of a weird. It's kind of weird if you think about it. You pay extra to have things just arrive one day early.
Well, that's
You
the weird
pay
thing
it,
I've been trying to.
consistently.
That's the weird thing I've been trying to explain to my mum. Was like, okay, I have Amazon Prime, which means you can watch these things for free.
Yeah.
Ignore all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
But they
yeah.
just chuck it in anyway to be like, look, we have this giant catalog.
Which does make it worth it though, because I'm buying stuff online. I'm like, right, I'm paying. Like, I recently, this is the kind of person I am now. I bought a receipt jar because I need my receipts to put in my receipts, right? 'Cause I don't like
That's
doing
just called a
receipts.
jar. Why?
Yeah,
why
do you
why-
buy it
Why did you buy a receipt? What does
specific-
that mean?
Doesn't matter.
Specifically,
it
a
has,
receipt
a,
for-
but it has a thing on it that says for all the money I used to have. And I said,
I thought it was like, it specifically says receipt jar.
no, because I'll put the money in and I'll go, huh.
Why don't you just
You know,
take
and
a jar
Is it just a jar?
of
It's
gherkins that you have?
basically a jar, but it's
I bet you paid $10.99 for it.
No, I paid £6, but it's
What?
£6. It cost me £6. Right?
Just fucking have some pasta sauce and
Yeah,
put.
just clean a jar.
Right? I pay for it, right? And I buy it, and it
That's
comes.
mental.
Right, it comes the next day, right? It's
Yeah.
brilliant, right? It's one of the best things. I bought a game once in the morning. I woke up at like 6:30. I've got to go to uni. I buy it, and I'm just scrolling through my phone. I bought the Arkham remastered.
Which is now in Game Pass for free.
Yeah, no, shut up. And I paid £20 for it. And it comes the same day. Same with I remember I was in a class, 10 a.m. I bought the Resident Evil 2. It came the same day, right? It is a brilliant subscription service. And on top of that, I just so happen to get all these extra
feel like-
films for
yeah.
free. Which I think really actually... And I pay a £5 a month? Like, sure, I'll pay that. That's like quite...
I think it's like 40 quid for a year. or
It's
something.
£40 for a year.
That's... I think...
It's good.
brilliant.
It's good.
I think it's a
That's our student price as well.
I got a
It's
little bit
80.
fucked because it was
Oh,
like
yeah?
because I went to Edinburgh Uni, and when I first bought it, it was
Oh,
like
yeah, I think you told me
you're
this.
in Edinburgh Uni student. So after 4 years had lapsed, it was like, oh, you've graduated
Oh.
now. Here's full price, bitch.
Yeah, it's
I was
like,
like,
it
yeah,
wasn't-
well, I'm a student now. And they're like, prove it. And I was like, here's my thing. And they were like, yeah, no, that's not good. Every time I go onto it now, it's like, I'm a student, and I sign into my Napier account thing, and it just doesn't work. And they're like, yeah, we're still gonna charge you 80 quid or whatever it is.
No, what, £8? It's not £8 a month then.
It's
So it's like double.
it's £39.99 for a year.
I pay £40 for a year.
Yeah, we get such a deep
Yeah.
discount.
But I feel like
Holy crap.
my mindset is I pay for Amazon Prime to get quick delivery.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I feel like the whole marketing strategy is like, oh, but you get this for a bonus. Like you get Twitch Prime, which means like you get like 4 free games a month. Via
Which is
Twitch.
all right, actually.
It's good. You get a lot of good. Like
I
you
keep
used
trying to sell the
you
Amazon
used-
Music thing to
Yeah,
me.
you used to get a
Yeah.
lot. Of,
Okay, Amazon Music is... I've got
Amazon
Spotify.
I
Music-
started using it for once. I
Yeah.
started I tried to use it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna use Spotify.
Well,
Yeah.
because when I started working at Amazon, that's when they rolled it out, and it was originally all included with Amazon Prime, and then it started. Oh no, we got to pay a subscription. But I think they have like Prime radio stations or something like that.
Right.
But
That's
then
the
you
thing
also get Prime Reading, which is like you get books included for
Wait,
the
is that not
Kindle
Audible?
Prime.
Is that not Audible?
No, you still have to pay for Audible.
Yeah, because I bought... So Audible, I was like, I have Amazon Prime. And I remember, because I commute a lot for my part-time job, and I was like, I really would love an audiobook. So I got Norwegian Wood, ironically enough, and you get one for free. And I was like, oh wait, I have to pay? I was like, but I already pay for Prime. So it's kind of the exact same thing you
But
had
yeah.
with your mum. You're
Yeah.
like, I already pay for this. It's like, why am I paying more? I'm not paying $4.99 for a
But
book I
you're
could
you're
buy
not
on eBay
paying
for
more
two.
for it though.
You know?
Like
You're-
this is the thing
yeah,
I've been
you're
trying to
not.
explain for. It's like
Yeah.
you're not paying more for this. This is
No, no,
just.
no.
But she goes on to Amazon Prime on my PlayStation 3, which I left at home so she could watch films.
Oh, that's nice of you. I have my old Sony Blu-ray.
Like
gave my mum.
I let her. She goes to Amazon Prime and she looks at it and goes, "Oh, I have to pay if I want to watch Mission Impossible or whatever." And it's like she's like, "That's nonsense. Why'd I have to do that?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Because that's not the service.
Yeah.
I'm paying Amazon Prime. You get all this stuff, but Amazon Video is a separate thing.
Yeah.
But they just lump it all in.
Mm.
You see it. So like a film comes out 3 months later, it's on Amazon Video, and you
Right.
can pay
Yeah.
like £5 to watch it for
Yeah.
like 2 days.
I feel like my roadmap of like if I want to watch a movie online, if it's on Netflix, I'm like, oh fuck, it's not there. Is it on Amazon Prime? And then I'm just like, oh okay, I'll go online or whatever. But
Yeah.
I
Oh,
can
you
see
mean-
that.
Yeah.
Well, now in like 5 years, it's gonna be like, is it on Netflix? No. Is it on Amazon Prime? No. Is it on Disney Plus? No. Is it
Is it
on
on DC?
Is it on yeah, fucking DC?
What's the DC one called?
It's just called DC Universe. I think it's called DC Universe. I was about to say.
That's way too long.
My sentence start. I was like, it's just called. I was about to say like, it's just called DC Streaming or whatever, but I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's called DC Universe.
DC
I think there
Universe.
are sites that you can get that like basically combine all of them and say
Yeah, there's one called
it's,
Verve.
it's on one of these and you
VRV.
own it so you can watch it here.
Because there's
That-
one.
that's how it exists.
Oh, I actually have a story about my fucking frustrations of trying to buy an anime subscription. Right?
All right.
There's this one anime. Basically, there's this game series called Danganronpa, right? So it's like the first two games are like vaguely connected. Then they have Danganronpa V3, which is a completely new story. But they have Danganronpa 3, which is an anime series that's the conclusion of these first two games, right?
Okay.
So, like, I was like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. I could go. Anime is very easy to pirate, obviously. But I was like, fuck it. I'll be a good boy. I'll try and find. I'll go on Crunchyroll. This is like, that's like the biggest anime.
I'm aware.
stream.
Yeah.
So I look on there.
What's the price for that, by the way?
I don't know. I think it's getting kind of bigger though. But I was like looking on there, and I was like, okay, well I can watch it all in like a free trial. Like, it'll give me a month or whatever, you know. So I go in there, and it's like I search on there, like, oh, we don't have it. So I'm like, okay, who the fuck does have it? Oh, it's Funimation, which is basically a company that usually subtitles and dubs a lot of anime. So like, oh, they have a streaming service. Okay, start with them. So I get my free trial, go in there. Oh, cool, they have it. Start watching, and I'm watching it in Japanese audio, but subtitles don't come up. So I'm like, what the fuck? And then so I'm like, I can watch it in English dub, but the English dub is absolute rubbish because like they're not the same English voices from the games, so it just sounds bizarre, you know. Like imagine if you're watching Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and then Dark Knight Rises, Batman suddenly goes, Bean! Ooh, that's like that's how bad it is, you know. So I'm like, what the fuck? Why does it have English subtitles? So I'm looking, and it's like, oh, Crunchyroll owns the rights for Funimation English subtitles.
Oh my god.
But Funimation do not. Funimation owns the rights to distribute the Japanese audio, but not their own fucking subtitles. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna pirate. Fuck streaming. This is the worst fucking thing in the
I can
world.
imagine you just having a whole night.
This was 3 fucking hours of just being like, I want to watch this one anime.
Oh, that's great. Oh, brilliant. That I think that encapsulates what's going to happen in the future.
It's going to get very...
Yeah, that's a microcosm for what's going to happen.
It's going to get damn difficult.
Also, you know what's more annoying about that series? It's not one anime. It's technically 2, where one is set in the future, one's set in the past, and the way it's released is that the future episodes came out first, and then later in the week the past ones. So you have to watch it future past, future past, future past. So effectively, but they're not in the same one. It's not like watching the one thing.
What?
It is
watching
2 different series.
This is so difficult.
It's so fucking complicated.
This puts me off it right away. I'm like, I can't watch that.
Like
I don't have time to
that's
do that.
that's the legs that the Japanese like companies will be like, nah, they'll figure out.
So I think that gets us on to. I'm not going to talk about it too much because me and Fergus were talking in our private correspondence together about a future. No, because I talked to Fergus. I was like, this is what I want to talk about.
Did me out.
No. I mentioned it to Fergus. And why did I mention it to you? I probably should have put it in the chat actually. But I was like, I'm curious. I want to do a thing on is going to the cinema actually dead? Because now. Saying that Endgame just made is
Okay,
over $2
so
billion.
yeah, that's what I want to talk
Right.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but me and Fergus do actually think that would be better for a full episode of because we all have our problems with going. Like, I'm the only one here that pays a subscription service to a cinema. No, you pay for the Cameo, right?
No. I
You're
have
not used to it. What, for the film house?
Yeah, I have a Filmhouse subscription. Where you
How much
pay
is
like-
that?
I can't remember because you basically pay for a year.
Wait, would you all just explain
And
what
you
the
get,
film
like,
house is?
Yeah, we have so it's Edinburgh. It's a very cultural city, so we basically have a lot of cinemas, and we have 2 kind of art house director ones. Filmhouse, which is like fully art house,
Yeah.
dedicated, and it's also funded by the EU, which is why
Is it actually?
yeah, which
I
is
didn't
why
know that.
which is why they were all scared when Brexit was coming. And then the Cameo, which is like an independent cinema, which does a lot of art house
It's
and it
more exciting.
shows older films, but it'll also show it.
You used to live right next to the Cameo. I didn't know.
Cameo is probably.
Well, I live 10 minutes away from
I'll say probably
Yeah.
Cameo.
That's what I'm
Cameo is probably the best cinema in Scotland. I would say.
Do you think so?
It's amazing.
I think it's Cineworld IMAX.
Red
No,
Velvet
Cineworld's actually shit.
Cinema.
I like Cineworld. I like Cineworld.
It's way too expensive.
Cameo has.
I pay 17
I went
pound
to
90 pence
so for
a
Endgame,
month.
I went to Ocean Terminal, which is a view cinema.
Yeah.
It's way cheaper. You go
Yeah.
in. They recently redid all their screens, so
Oh.
it's all lovely leather chairs, and you can.
Do they recline?
And they're all giant, and you can press a little button, and it just reclines right
Okay, because
back,
Cameo does
and
reclining
it's
seats.
beautiful.
Cameo did reclining seats before anyone else. In
So I went to see Endgame on Thursday morning at 11 o'clock.
Right.
And my dad was like, "Oh, we've got seats like 3 rows from the front." And I was like, "That's gonna be bad."
Yeah.
But we got in. You could recline your seat right back. I'm like, "This is fine."
Was it packed?
I think it was mostly full because so we tried to go for the 10:30, and I was like, "It'll be fine. It's a Thursday morning. No one's gonna be fucking there."
Yeah.
And my dad texted me as I was on the way. He's like, "Okay, so 10:30's full. We have to go for the 11 o'clock showing instead because 10:30 is fully booked." So I think the 11 o'clock was also very close to being fully booked, which is why we had to sit like we had 3 seats at the front, like 3 rows from the front.
Yeah.
But it was an excellent screen because it was like you could put the seats right back. It was very comfortable. The seats were giant. You don't have that problem of like, oh, the person next to me, I have to like share an armrest with them. The armrests are giant, so it's not a problem anyway.
So I had that problem with Endgame. I had that exact problem. I saw Endgame at Cineworld because I've got an unlimited card, which basically means that I can see as many movies as I want, but I pay almost like a subscription fee. I'm a little bit drunk. Subscription fee, and it's 17. I currently pay $17.90, and I basically make that back if I see like 2 films, 3 films. Well, so
if you're a dedicated fan, you do it. It's definitely a very valuable product.
It's a very good purchase if you go. So I go to cinema probably once a week. I try to go as much as I can because I love cinema and I love going and I love experiencing.
I love the theater.
I
experience the smell of the popcorn.
No, really, I'm one of these people that I love
the sweat of the seats.
That's
the stickiness of the floor.
This is why we're going to get into this discussion, I think, next week probably when we have this full-on, like, is cinema dead, like, the whole experience. But I really like going. I love it when the lights dim and the BBFC certificate comes up because I'm like, oh, I'm in it. You know what I mean? I love that. And I think it's because I have,
they didn't do that in the cinema.
Did they not?
The certificate didn't come up.
Like
Endgame just started, and I was like, "Oh, it started."
Oh, I have the best cinema
I don't think it
story.
did for mine.
Yeah, I
either.
didn't have the certificate.
I did.
It went to black, and then it opened with the Hawkeye stuff, and I was like, "Oh, we've started."
The best cinema
Okay,
experience.
turns the camera. This film is rated 12A.
I'm fairly sure we did not have a certificate.
The best cinema experience I've ever had, and it will remain the best. I went to see. So we
Wait,
went out.
do you want to save that for next?
No, I do because this actually ties into something I wanted to talk about, but I don't think we're gonna have time.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, we will talk about Sonic. We went out. Remember the charity night? We went out, right? And we got so we raised charity money. Remember that?
Yeah.
For Film Society?
Pub quiz.
Yeah, for Film Society. So we raised money for a homeless charity. And the next morning I was hammered, and not in the morning. And I woke up, and you know when you're drunk and then you wake up and you can't get back to sleep.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, oh, and I was like, what the fuck can I do? I was like, okay. My mum was awake and going to her. I was like, Mum, I'm gonna come with you into town. Let's go shopping. I'm gonna go to town. And she was like, okay. And I was like, great. Okay, right. What can I go see? Spider-Verse. First showing in the morning, 10 a.m. I went in. It's the Cineworld has like the nice screen at the very back, like screen 6.
Right.
I went to that, and nobody was there. There was literally one other person came in.
Wasn't it a lot of weeks in though?
No, first week. This is opening day.
Okay.
And I sat down. There was 2 people in the cinema. It was a couple, like way down in like the bottom left, and the film just started. There was no trailers. They didn't bother playing any trailers, and they just started. I think it was because they were running behind or something. Maybe someone was late, and they just started. And obviously, Spider-Verse is one of my favorite movies of last year, and I wanted to talk about it because I watched it again last night, and I love it to bits. I honestly think it's perfect, near perfection. And it was one of the best cinema experiences I've ever had because the cinema was dead and I just got to enjoy it. Right? I just got to enjoy the film. Okay. And that's why I went... Because the cinema is good when it's good. When it's bad, it's bad, right? I know.
You're a cursed man.
I am.
Because I went to see Endgame and a woman sat down next to me and I was like... And my first thought, which I've never had this thought ever before.
It's because of me.
Especially before Dylan. She sat down next to me and she started kind of like laughing at all the trailers and I was like, that's not that fun. So I was worried as the film was beginning to start. I was like, she's going to be annoying, isn't she?
Do you know what I love?
She's going to be a real problem. But she wasn't. It's just because I've been so conditioned now because Dylan has a curse. Anytime you go to see a film with Dylan, there's immediately a bad audience member with you who ruins everything.
Can I just say though, because I normally see movies by myself. I normally don't go with people. I normally see movies in the morning because that's when all the deadbeats are still asleep, and the cinema's dead normally. It is. You know what I mean? Like
fucking filthy deadbeats.
Can't believe these people want to see Endgame.
No, when you see a
people
movie,
that have jobs, filthy and deadbeats.
Right. When I see films at 11 o'clock with all the...
It's just you and fucking Grandma Bertha. Oh, I heard my So George Spider-Man.
Jerking off at the back of the cinema.
Okay,
Alright,
that's
okay,
getting
well.
cut. That's getting cut. But when we went to see,
Did we not talk about that last week?
like, I went to
Yeah,
see.
I think we should be.
Yeah, we did.
I
No,
think, yeah, there's definitely a lot of good cinema experience that I could talk about,
do you know
but
what?
I want to save a
Do
lot.
you know what? Do you want to? Can I talk very briefly about Spider-Verse, and then we get into Endgame?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Or
Okay.
talk about your. Yeah, I have a few things I want to talk about.
Yeah, because we were talking about
Before news. Pop.
So, like I said, I saw it. I saw Spider-Verse. So I've now seen Spider-Verse. So I watched it. Do you know what? This is the thing. I saw Spider-Verse once in the perfect screening, most perfect screening I've ever had, and it's like the happiest I've been in my whole life.
Amazing. Like, was it just quiet?
It was so quiet.
That's called a
See,
normal
that
cinema
was,
screening.
that was the majority of the experience I had in the cinema before fucking watching my you. Right, I had my card. I would just sit down, enjoy the movie, and go home.
I should say it's not because I'm loud. It's not because I'm loud. I'm cursed.
I wouldn't think about the people next to me.
Morons.
I would come in 5 minutes before the trailers ended.
I used to have a great time in the cinema,
Yeah.
and now I go in and I'm like, oh shit,
Now I'm
what's
just
gonna happen?
fearing for my life.
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
stare at everyone who comes in
I
the
went to
cinema.
Endgame, I was like, this is a nice quiet screening. I started to fill up and I'm like, oh no, it's getting worse, it's getting worse. But it was fine. I went and sat next to me, I was like, oh no.
That's because I've rubbed off on you both. So I saw Spider-Verse
Oh, Dylan, that's...
in the basically the most perfect screening ever, right? It was quiet. I loved the movie. I remember because there was no one around. The Stan Lee cameo really got to me. I loved that movie, and I saw it. My nephew really wanted to see it, and I take my nephew to see a lot of movies because I have an unlimited card. I'm okay seeing the same film twice, right? I've seen Shazam twice because of that, and which, by the way, I've seen Shazam the second time. My nephew, who's 10, loved it, and I actually liked it even more because he was enjoying it so much. So it's kind of like a pathos thing.
Well, that's my thing. When you say your best experience, like my best experience at the cinema is when I've been like surrounded by friends and we all are into it.
No,
It's like,
because
yeah.
I've had moments like that too. One of my favorite cinema experiences was when
Whoa.
we all went to
Whoa.
see.
Jump ahead of the game there. Save this. Save
Oh, okay, right. Well, because I think some of my best cinema experiences is some of the stuff we've went to because I've had so much fun. You know, you come out of it like Tomb Raider was crap, but I had a good collective
I think
experience.
Venom was one of my favourites.
Oh, Venom's one of my. Right,
Venom
we'll
was
talk about
a
that
good-
next week. Talk about
Venom
Venom
was
next
a
week
good-
because Venom was one of my favorite experiences ever.
Ready Player One
And
was
Venom
good
was
as well.
really Venom. Yeah, do you know they're all good, even though like dickheads sat behind us, and I was really worried that those kids were going to talk. And I even still in Venom, I had a great time. It's a terrible film, but I had a great time. So Spider-Verse, one of these movies, I saw Spider-Verse on a Saturday night then with my nephew. And I still was like, everyone was into it. I loved it. Me and my nephew sat in a sort of back in the corner, and I still really, really enjoyed it. Right? It's one of these movies that I just think is like audiences will just love because it's so just like great. Right? Lawrence loves it. I think you love it as well, right? I think you didn't like it so much, and you saw it the second time, you loved it more.
No, I still really enjoyed it the first time.
Yeah,
That's
I think
Hereditary you're thinking of.
But yeah,
no,
Hereditary.
but I remember you told me like in
No,
we were
I
talking
think like
and you were
I think like I just appreciate it more.
yeah.
I have a weird thing where like the first time I watch a movie, I'm just trying to like ingest what the movie's trying to like say or what messages.
Right,
And then
yeah.
the second time, I can be like, oh, I can just enjoy it.
So
Like I feel like, not to jump the gun,
No,
but
it's
Endgame.
okay.
But like I feel like when I talk about Endgame, a lot of it is just like, what are they doing? What are they setting up here? What are they going to do? And I feel like if I was just to watch Endgame again, I'd be like, oh,
you like it more?
probably yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was most movies.
I think I was really blown away by Spider-Verse in the first time because I had really low expectations because I'm like Sony. I'm like,
Yeah, so did I.
I was
Yeah.
like, the reviews were good.
I remember
but
seeing
was like,
that-
how good can it be? I'm
A
like,
film I saw at 10 a.m. was the Emoji Movie after a night of like couldn't sleep, and I was like, I just
I think
don't
you
know
were
what to
I think
do.
you were like majorly depressed and you
Probably.
went to watch that. And it
I
was
saw
like,
I saw the Emoji Movie, realized I've got nothing else to do today. Let's go see the next movie that's available. It's The Dark Tower.
Sony double bill.
Yeah, Sony double bill.
I remember seeing that like little scene they played after Venom for Spider-Verse, and I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
and I just wasn't hooked at all. It was
Because you're like, what is this?
Because I was like, yeah, what's happening? I don't know who these characters are.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is
Did
happening.
you notice that?
I just wasn't into it at
Do
all, and
you
I was
remember-
not into Spider-Verse at all. I didn't see it at cinema because of that film.
Yeah.
Because of that little thing, I was like, what is this film? I don't
Yeah.
know what it is.
Now, interestingly, that clip I went back to it because it's online. That clip they actually cut scenes with the Prowler into that scene to make it look like they're being
Really?
chased by the Prowler.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So, because in that scene they're not being chased by the Prowler. It's just they're
I
being
don't
chased by the
remember that at
police.
all. I
Yeah.
don't remember that at all.
Because there's a shot of the Prowler standing on the building at the end. We all turned to each other and we're like, "That's going to be crap," because
I don't remember that.
we're those kind of people.
Well, it's weird because I remember watching the teaser trailer where it's the scene where
He
What's
jumps
Up
off, right?
What's Up Danger plays and he's on the skyscraper and then jumps
Oh.
off and it's like beautiful.
scene.
I remember watching that teaser trailer. I'm like, holy shit, this actually
I
looks
think that's
like
the best scene.
incredible. I
I'm
think
going to
so.
get into that because I've got
so.
the best scene. But anyway, go on. Sorry, what are you saying?
But yeah, I think that's like such an amazing scene. It's so beautiful. And I've watched like the behind the scenes of how they did it.
It's
where,
incredible,
like,
right?
Where like the
Did
way
you know he's rising?
Shut up. Well, like the way they animated it is like he's like the skyscraper he's on, but then geographically the skyscrapers are way below him. Like technically they should be sinking into the floor.
Of course, yeah.
And so it like makes us like a better sense of like gravity and like sense of scale.
Amazing.
Like what behind? I really want to get the Blu-ray just for all like. I hope that Blu-ray is loaded with
it's
like
packed. I've got it. It's
behind
packed.
the scenes
It's packed.
documentaries
Yeah, it's packed.
because it's always so interesting how they film it. Feels like every scene where it's like some animator comes on Twitter and he's like, "All right, let me talk about this scene." Like, there's one where the Gwen's just playing drums. And it's 2 seconds, and the guy breaks it down of how like the drums are at different frame rate. The Gwen like it's all these so little interesting things.
So it's a film that actually, interestingly enough, it uses different frame rates for. I think you just mentioned that. It skips from 24 to 33 or something like that. It skips frame rate often. So, for instance, the scene where Peter's being chased by Peter. Miles is being chased with Peter. The scene we're just talking about. Yeah. That's actually filmed at 24 frames per second. But some of the other stuff is filmed at a higher frame rate to make it feel more smooth. Like, for instance, when Miles first realizes that he's got the power. So anyway, I've seen the film. I saw it at Film Society with you guys.
By the way, we used to run a film society.
We did, yeah. We used to run a film society, which is why we watched it.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. I watched it there, and I'm like, again, I was like, this is one of the best. I honestly think that this movie people are going to come back to in like 10 years and be like, this is like one of the best movies ever made. This movie is like damn near perfection. It's so tight. Like, you know when we were talking about Infinity War earlier, how tight it is? Spider-Verse is tight as anything. Like, that movie, I can't poke a single hole in it. I watched it. My nephew came around last night and I was babysitting him. And I was like going through all my movies, like, what do you want to watch? I've got hundreds of Blu-rays. And he's like, okay, we watched Spider-Verse together. He's like, I want to watch Spider-Verse again. I'm like, okay, it's a great movie. We're going to watch it again. And on the rewatch, I noticed it the first time, but it made me think about it more, the more, and it has stuff to do, makes you think a lot about your own life and stuff like that. And Peter B. Parker is a really interesting character. Like, he's a lot more than just a Spider-Man.
He's more than just like the comic relief or like the stereotypical mentor character.
Right. He's not actually just a slubby Peter Parker and it's meant to be. He's like actually majorly depressed. If you watch the movie, like but Spider-Man has got a death wish.
I was talking to you this earlier,
Yeah.
and it's like at the end of the movie you find like, well, slight spoilers for Spider-Man. Like,
yeah.
He goes to his
spoilers for Spider-Verse.
He goes to like his whole redemption arc, and it's like he's like he's really happy by the end. He's like found this great connection with Miles and everything. But then it was when we showed it at Film Society and we watched it, and we introduced him. Yeah, he's like, I broke up with Aunt May. I broke up. I broke up MJ. I buried Aunt May, and it's just him like
hit by a drone,
and he's just sitting in his apartment. He's getting fat, and it's like. Fuck.
One of the things I noticed the second when we watched the film Society was that he's actually our Spider-Man.
Yep.
Oh, right.
Like, if you look at, like, he comes out and he's like, oh, I saw this, like, weird poster
he's
for,
blonde.
like... but there's, like, weird things, like, he comes to the Miles Morales universe and he drops in front of his poster, it's like... Something
they have Coke,
like,
they have Coca or something?
Yeah, something like that. And it's like, he's actually our Spider-Man. He's from Coca-Cola universe.
You know that's annoying thing I realized? Annoying thing I realized. I think this was like inconsistency because there's some points in the Miles Morales universe where all the New York taxi cabs are green instead of yellow.
Yeah.
But then the scene that's included in Venom, they're all yellow again.
Oh, really interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I noticed that when we were watching it at Film Society. And I was like, and then I think from then on they're actually still yellow.
So it's really weird. Yeah.
So
that will be the editorial thing, probably.
Yeah.
So with Peter B. Parker, like. For instance, I was thinking a lot about his character, and especially the scene where he says farewell to Miles at the end of the movie. And I think it speaks to a lot of the themes of the film. I remember I watched an analysis last night where the theme, people were talking about that, it's about the other.
Spider-Verse, ending explained.
Yeah, right, yeah. It's about, like, being accepted. Yeah, I know,
There's been tons for Endgame recently. Like, there's no explaining to do. It's
no, you just don't click on them.
It's pretty damn straightforward a film.
Yeah.
I want to make one where it's like, Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Wait, is your
he learned that French
huge
like,
big red arrow and
you could do it for any fucking film. It's like anything explained for this film. You're like, what? There wasn't anything to explain.
It was Hereditary as well, where I feel like
my god,
it's
Hereditary.
It's pretty obvious. Like,
yeah, the film does a very good job of spelling everything out for you.
I was thinking a lot about I watched a video and the person was like, this movie's about the other. It's about being accepted. Like, Miles' dad eventually accepts him and says, and he crosses a boundary literally, physically through the screen. And I was thinking a lot about it, and I was like, well, what? Like, I think it's one of these profound films that speaks to you as an individual. So when you're watching it, the whole theme, the whole idea of Spider-Man is no matter how hard you get hit, you get back up. That's the whole thing that's repeated. Miles' father
Get
says,
up, Spider-Man.
yeah, this whole Miles' dad says that at the final battle, but also Miles' dad says, or his mum says it, like, this family, no matter how hard you get hit, you get back up. Spider-Man at the start says it. He says, no matter how
We don't
hard,
run away. Yes,
yeah, we don't run away from trouble. And the song is literally called "What's Up, Danger," which is I'm gonna face whatever comes to me. But
That's
Peter
a
B,
great song.
it's a great song. I've been listening to it on repeat. Peter B. Parker is past that. Like, he's been Spider-Man for so long that he no longer believes that anymore. He's like so depressed and down on his luck that he believes that it's not worth being Spider-Man anymore. And him and Miles are a juxtaposition to one another where they need to realize each other's missions. So that part where Peter B. Parker essentially wants to kill himself at the end by making an excuse up to fight Kingpin. He's like, you go and you deal with the goober, I'm gonna fight Kingpin. Which basically is just, I'm okay with dying if you go do that.
The solution of like when they're all like, who should stay behind? It's very obvious. Like maybe just let the guy who's this universe.
He's
who's
like,
not
I'll
gonna
do it. I'll do
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And it has to do with also Spider-Man is obviously selfless. He'll do whatever he wants to for the greater good. But it's like clearly Miles can do it, but he's doing it because he's scared of going back and facing MJ and facing the fact that Aunt May is not there anymore. He's scared of that, and it takes Miles to say to him, when Peter B. Parker says it's okay to Miles to let go, Miles says, yeah, it is okay, and turns it back on Peter, and Peter finally realizes, oh, okay, like, I need to go back, and Miles literally says to him, I need to go back, you need to go home. Like, he says, you need to go back, and the whole theme is Peter B. has not realized that he needs to get up and keep fighting, like, he's given up. And it's a really interesting character arc, where it literally works in conjunction with Miles. Without Miles, Peter B. would never work as a character. And I think it's a testament to how well written the film is. I was
gonna say, like,
incredibly tight scripts. And the script's online, by the way, which is where everyone got that.
He's rising.
He's actually rising. And in that, actually, I read, because last night I read it because I was like, I want to talk about this. I read the scene where Miles says goodbye to Peter, and it literally says when Peter goes, what if I mess it up again? And he turns back because he's scared of going back to face MJ. And the little brackets bit is, Peter has now become sad and desperate. That's the line.
Wow.
And Miles is with empathy, and he's like, you need to go home. And I was like, wow, okay, so the filmmakers were really going for Peter doesn't know what he's doing. He needs Miles to tell him it's okay to go home. And I love that line where he goes, it's like the better version of the Last Jedi line where Luke says, see you around, kid, and Peter B goes, not bad, kid, and he looks at him and he disappears. I was like, it's just such a brilliant ending to a character arc.
That's
it's
perfect. That's a great strength of like full-on Chris Miller's writing, is that
they're
always very comedy focused, but they always do have like a very like, you know, very like central emotional core to a lot of their movies.
Right, exactly.
Like there's also the scene where like
in Solo, when Han Solo,
well,
when it gets called Solo,
sorry.
They're like, no, in Spider-Verse, but like they're disguising themselves as Spider-Man so they can like go into Kingpin's thing, and he sees MJ for the first time, and he's like,
amazing
"Oh,
scene.
I'm sorry I didn't get your bread," and it's like played for comedic laughs, but like you can't imagine being that scene if you're them. It's just like, you know,
there's so many great scenes. Like, he's so lazy he can't even be bothered to ring Aunt May's doorbell, so he just webs it. There's so many great bits. I love the bit when he's like, I got hit by a drone. So many great jokes. But like you said, it's actually underlying a really serious character flaw. This is what would happen if Spider-Man actually went through all this. Because if you notice, Peter B. Parker, although he's meant to be like down on the luck schlubby Spider-Man, he's still Spider-Man. Like, ultimately,
it's a very similar thing in Endgame.
With a certain character that we'll talk about. He's still selfless. He still believes in the greater good and all that. I love the scene where he's like, this is standard Spider-Man protocols. He's going to say, you know, this. And it's, you know, that whole stuff. That scene is amazing. The whole scene where he's fighting. I love the fact that he does the whole scene in sweatpants.
This is good.
There's just so many great moments in that movie. And the whole thing with him eating the burger and he's like, I'm not very liquid right now. Also, I noticed in the background, he's like, I have no idea why this place shut down. And in the background, it says health rating C
oh, really?
on the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's
so
funny.
that's the reason why it shut down. There's so many really great moments.
That's funny.
Also, I noticed as well, because I was watching a lot of videos on it last night, you know when he goes, Miles' dad picks him up and they're in the car? If you notice when he's like, oh man, people I know go here. If you look in the background, you can actually see Gwen crossing the road getting into school.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of really like, because clearly this movie, I think it was in development for a long time, and they had
it must have been the amount of like, yeah, just like all the animators in Twitter, just like it feels like it was like an experimental playground, but they could just play with like 3D animation that really hasn't been done before.
And the whole there's like a very interesting depth of focus thing going on there. Depth of field, I should say. Sorry, it has a very interesting depth of field and all that. I actually think now I've seen it 4 or 5 times. I think it's probably the only animated. Well, actually, not maybe the only. It's definitely the only Spider-Man movie I would say that's perfect, and I think it really fully understands.
Spider-Man 3? When's Spider-Man 2?
Interestingly enough, I think we had this conversation. I think Spider-Man 2 is a really, really good movie.
Spider-Man 2 is great.
Yeah, Spider-Man
I
2
think
is
it's
a great movie.
And one of these movies is part of my childhood. Like, I'll go back.
No,
and
yeah,
watch it.
I was.
Spider-Man 2 is an
And
excellent
it
film.
moves me.
I think people of our generation, they all grew up with Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is one of the best Spider-Man films.
I remember,
Absolutely.
for some reason, I remember this memory of like me in the car, and my dad had just bought me Spider-Man 2, and my dad had to run to the shop to get milk or something. And I remember just sitting in the car, staring at the DVD cover, like just be like, "Wow, I'm so excited watching it!" Like it's like such a mundane memory, but I just remember that, like just staring.
Did you see it in cinemas, and then you were like, I want to go see it again on DVD?
Yeah.
Yeah, same for me. I remember watching Spider-Man 3. I was very young when Spider-Man 3 came out, and I even thinking that was good. My sister bought me on DVD. I was like, oh my god, I get to watch Spider-Man 3 again. I'm going to rewind the part where Green Goblin gets hit by the wire, and he goes, "Blah!" And he falls off his-
I made Spider-Man 3 AMV set to Linkin Park when I was a kid.
Oh man.
But I did.
Wait, what the heck did you cut? What did you cut into?
Oh, it was just all
Wait,
the.
what song? What song? What in Linkin Park?
What have I done?
I think it was What Have I Done. I think it was and also it was before it was out, so it was just all the trailers, and I didn't. And I
the
was
film wasn't out?
yeah, so it was just all the trailers, and I didn't know how to mute the clips, so the music was playing, and then like,
No, wait, so the
but the
sound-
sound to the trailers was
So wait,
still
the trailer
playing.
was like
Pretty much.
in cinemas, and you were just like, what?
No, I at least got that bit.
So yeah, no, actually, I was going to speak about this as well. I think you were talking about Spider-Man 2 is a really personal movie for you. I think you mentioned this to me. I think Spider-Verse for me is like a really personal movie. Like I can always go back to that movie, and I love the message. It's like no matter how hard life gets you, you can still get
Everything
back
will
up.
be fine if you can have spider powers.
I got that from Batman.
Oh, did you really? Be rich.
Why do we fall down, Bruce? Why do we fall down? So we can get back up. Alright, so Fergus, you were talking a lot about how Spider-Man 2 kind of was like a big thing for you as a child.
Yeah.
And I think that leads us nicely into Endgame, because this film brought me back to being a 12-year-old.
Yeah, it's crazy to imagine that it was 2008 when this all began.
So I think about it a lot when I saw not Iron Man but the Hulk film, and then
really?
Robert Downey Jr. comes into the end in the post-credit scene, and I remember coming out of that not really understanding what was happening. At that time, I would have been 12 years old. 2008, I would have been 12 years old, and I remember my dad explained to me
That was the same.
they're going to be doing this film called The Avengers, which is a lot of heroes together
of
in
course.
one film, and
Yeah.
I was like, "You can't, that's insane!" And it blew my mind at the time. I was like, Hulk and Iron Man in a film together, that's insane.
Because
There was a point in Endgame in the final hour of the film when are we actually talking about the film?
Well, I kind of reminds me because I remember the whole thing like nowadays where it's like Kevin Feige comes out and it's like, hey, I'm really excited, right, next year again, Black Panther, a new Spider-Man, blah. They like road plan it the whole time. But at the beginning it was like end of Iron Man 2, you see Thor's hammer in the desert and nothing. They haven't announced a Thor film and it's like, the fuck is that? What does that mean? And then you see like Captain America's shield and Tony Stark's like lab, and you're like, wait, and then your comic friend's like, that's Captain America's shield, and you're like, what the fuck? Who's he? What? You know, because it's weird to imagine these were all like the Marvel B characters at the beginning. Iron Man was still big, but it's just like everyone still cared more about X-Men and Spider-Man and
like Iron Man. Like by the time when Iron Man came out, Iron Man had made like 500 back to box office, made about 550 million, but like. When that first was announced, everyone was like, "An Iron Man movie, like get a grip, like what you did." Like, and I remember
you're getting this washed-up actor Robert Downey Jr. to play him,
and then the trailer came out, has the ACD song, and then people were like, "This is lame," and then the movie came out, like, "Oh no, this is great." I remember people were like, "Oh no, this is actually really, really good." John Favreau, of course, who, by the way, John Favreau. He stuck it right out to the end, didn't he? He even had time to make a cheeseburger
absolutely
joke.
loved that at the end when
amazing.
they brought up, your father liked cheeseburgers, and I was like, oh no.
I actually, honestly, I was like, it felt like, because Iron Man is my favorite MCU film. I love that film so much, and it means a lot to me. Much like you said with Spider-Man 2, I remember getting the DVD for that and being like, oh my god, I got the 2-disc special edition, and I remember thinking, I get to watch the special features of Iron Man. That movie means so much to me, and getting that callback was like. Really brought me back as well as a child.
I messaged you after I came out of
we
Avengers,
talked a lot about it, and
I said to you, like, if I'd seen that film when I was 12 years old, it would have blown my mind.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
when I was 12 years old, I saw the Hulk film, they brought in Iron Man at the end of it, and they're like, we're putting together a team. And I was like, what does that mean? I was like, they're putting together, Iron Man and Hulk being in a film together, and I was like, you can't do that. That's mental.
Wouldn't
That scene on your left, that scene
Yeah.
with the portals coming in, and you just see everyone come out,
It is.
and I teared up a little bit because
you
I was
really?
because it was just so overwhelming to me. I was like, this is everything I would ever want as a child.
Yeah.
It's the most emotional. I was just like, because I remember it made me think of seeing Avengers for the first time. And saying, "Oh, it was all my friends," and just the whole point, like seeing like, there's like the bit where it's like the one shot where it's like cut, Iron Man flies in, then Captain America
The
flies.
one shot?
I remember thinking like, this is a movie. This is a movie from the future. Like
Yeah.
this is like if someone. I remember for some reason thinking like, if a caveman came back and he was like, and for some reason he was like, what do movies like now? I'd be like, let's watch this. This is the Avengers. This is like,
This is it.
and I don't think it's aged that well. I think a lot of the jokes are pretty cringy now.
Yeah.
And sort of like, have you guys watched the trailer for the Avengers recently?
It's crap, isn't it?
It's
seen it,
so
it's crap.
funny. I've watched it recently because it popped on my notifications. It's all like, we're in this together now. And it's so cringy. Like, it's so funny watching old Marvel trailers compared to now, where it's just like, I watched the trailer for the original Iron Man. It's the whole film. It's just the whole film, that trailer. And now Endgame is like the first 15 minutes or something.
Yeah, it literally shows maybe like it shows a little bit from the third act, but like it's barely nothing. On your point about seeing the Avengers, I saw the Avengers with my sister. I remember seeing the Avengers and being like, so I saw Thor and I was like, Loki's back? I was like, no way. I turned to my sister and I'm like, Loki's not back. Loki's back. Loki was the main villain. I was like,
Now he's got a TV series. Loki's back, baby.
I was like, this is insane. And I remember like just thinking how crazy it was, all these characters coming together, because I think I had like one friend in high school that watched all these movies with me, like had watched all of them consistently, including like Iron Man 2 and all that. But like I remember I remember hearing the chatter. I'm younger than you guys. I'm like 2 years. I was in S2 when the Avengers came out, and I remember hearing all the chatter in my class. People going, "Oh my god, these characters are all together now. That doesn't make any sense." And I'm sitting there thinking, "Well, I've seen Iron Man." Wait, what's the other one? Captain America, First Avenger.
It was a really
thinking,
big deal.
I know that they've all come together. It was a really kind of moment for me. And seeing Loki again, Loki was a great character as well. Tom Hiddleston, obviously a great performance. Seeing that all come together, I mean, I will agree with Fergus. I've watched the Avengers recently. It's not that good.
No, it really doesn't hold up that
It
much.
does not hold up. And Avengers: Age of Ultron is crap. Like going back and rewatching that movie sucks. But it's weird. Like half the Avengers movies are actually not.
Well,
that
yeah, like
great.
it's funny because like Avengers when it came out was like the biggest movie ever, like shot up to number 3.
Oh, yeah,
Where
it
now
made a lot
today
of
it's
money.
maybe like number 15 or something.
It is, yeah. It's been a good
and it was like
yeah.
massive and everything. It was like
Do you know
one
what's
of the
crazy? That
biggest
movie
movies.
came out the same year as The Dark Knight Rises.
Well, because that was the thing. Because I was thinking
Oh.
about this recently, where it's crazy to think that like obviously Batman was like huge. Where it was
Batman
like
was bigger than all the Marvel
oh yeah,
characters.
where
at
it was
that
like
time.
it was giving a lot of credibility to like comic book movies. Of that they could actually be serious good films. And so I don't think it's a coincidence that Dark Knight Rises ends, then Marvel releases Avengers, and that takes off.
Yeah.
And then it kind of brings us into like a new age. And obviously, it's not an understatement to say that like these new Marvel movies have shaped. So, Blockbusters at least since it's come out.
I mean, yeah, DC have tried to copy everything that
Yeah,
Marvel done and just failed terribly because they wanted to
they've
fast
tried
forward.
to copy Dark Knight and failed. They're trying to copy
They
Avengers
want
and
to
failed.
fast forward towards what Marvel have, and Marvel have 22 films
Yeah.
building.
Yeah.
And
It's
everything.
Did you guys see Dark Knight in cinemas?
No, I saw Dark Knight Rises only.
But The Dark Knight, like basically actually reshaped how blockbusters were made. Everything became more serious. After
I remember
The
not
Dark
liking
Knight.
Batman Begins that much.
I like that.
And
I
then
remember
Dark
liking-
Knight came out, I was like, oh, Batman is good.
Yeah. It's weird. Like The Dark Knight reshaped Hollywood movies and blockbusters into being these serious, dark. Everything has to be take it 100% seriously. And then like it's weird that, to me. It still astounds me that Marvel were like, actually, no, let's not do that. And they actually, in a culture where everything was super serious, they embraced the comic booky kind of. I know The Dark Knight still has obviously tons of comic book influences, but it embraces like the silliness. Like they didn't, for instance. Batman movies, the Christopher Nolan movies especially, are famous for, and especially the Bryan Singer X-Men movies, which are the only other kind of really successful property, and Spider-Man.
What's Batman, yeah. I was
Yeah.
going to say.
That all of them changed the costumes. They all like, we need to make this look way better. Like Bryan Singer was like, let's get everyone in black leather. Everyone, and the Christopher Nolan movies where everyone needs to be serious. Bane cannot be big. Bane needs to be small.
Well,
Everyone
I mean,
is like, no, and then Avengers comes out, as Captain America, everyone's wearing the dumbest costumes I've ever
Well,
seen.
the thing is, comics
Thor
are
looks
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Like
you know?
comics are fucking dumb.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
The original Infinity War story is fucking dumb.
Oh,
Think
it's
about
so
it.
stupid.
And Thanos is it makes no sense. And
Isn't there a scene where Thanos is on like a bus or
He's-
something?
he's
It's
got a
big memes?
helicopter.
Thanos copter.
Thanos copter, that's
has
it.
a
Thanos
helicopter.
helicopter.
It's so
No,
dumb.
but think about like Thor alone. It's like some guy was like, "Alright, I need to think of a new best-selling comic video. I'll just get some Norse mythology and just make it a comic."
Well, that's like part of the reason the first 4 films were so crap. Was
Yeah,
like
those are
they
crap.
played so like much into Forrest this god guy. They bleached his eyebrows and everything.
Yeah, I was gonna just say that.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it
It
is.
was shit. And then Thor Ragnarok came out and like, okay, they realised we need to kind of reshape this character a bit.
I think
'cause
about
he's
it
completely
so much.
uninteresting.
I think about it so much how Thor 1 and 2 are probably some of the worst MCU movies. Thor Ragnarok
boring.
is probably the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Thor is
And
directed by
it's probably the
Kenneth
least
Branagh.
like superhero ones.
Yeah.
Ragnarok or 1 and 2?
Ragnarok.
Yeah, it is. It's more of a space adventure movie.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like, because it's definitely like one of like just embracing comic roots of like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
dumb and
It's bizarre to me that it's bizarre to me they took so long to use "Immigrant Song." It took them 3 movies.
I think it doesn't take away. He said basically like that.
Just-
that shapes my film.
oh, he's just like.
It should be the song.
I remember he was just like, yeah, they say Valhalla at one point, so I was like, yeah, that's good enough.
I love talking about TV. I think that's the second mention he's had on this episode. But like the thing is Thor. Like, the first Thor is it's not bad.
I saw the first one, didn't see the second one because I hate
It's
the
fine.
first one so much.
Yeah, the final action sequence takes place in a small town. It's like Man of Steel. It's like what's going on?
It's like a wee plateau. Or,
Yeah, it's crap.
London,
And he fights a big, sort of big dark thingy. It's crap. And 4 2 is crap as well. Loki is the only good thing about those movies. But what's bizarre to me is that even in a trend of movies that were all going super serious, Marvel decided to go more comic-y and more like, let's just embrace the comic. Let's embrace the fun. They remind me a lot of like the early Indiana Jones movies. Let's embrace the fun. They have fun, despite the fact that everything around them is like, we need to be discussing morality and we need to be discussing what does Batman stand for? In a post 9/11 world, what is Batman? And the Avengers like, here's the Avengers
Okay.
and they shoot aliens.
But you
know,
say
it's
that.
just-
We have a Hulk.
Okay, but,
Yeah.
but you say that, then we get to Infinity War and Endgame.
I was just gonna
and they
say
do
that.
go way back into that.
No,
Of
absolutely. I
and
think
now
they
gets
earn
quite
it.
serious. No, I agree. Exactly, I agree. I was about to
Yeah.
say that. Like,
No, the
it
Dark Knight
does-
earns it too,
It
but
gets there.
The Dark Knight earns it too, but I think the reason why that works is because, well, at the end of Infinity War, if they started off Endgame with jokes, I'd be like, guys, like, come on now. The last movie ended with half your cast dying. So you cannot start the movie like that. They
yeah.
This is the thing. Marvel take their properties seriously, but they know how to have fun with them. That's the difference. DC, like, for instance, with the Snyder stuff, they're like, we take it seriously, and not only that, Snyder's like said in interviews, I want my Batman to get raped in prison, like crap like that. You know what I mean? Snyder just doesn't get it.
It's crazy that like because
Feige gets it.
no
you know?
one was like, I'm gonna take it seriously, but in like a realistic.
Right.
And Snyder was like, if we have to get serious, then obviously we've got to get biblical. That's the step above.
If we get serious, we obviously have to have Jesus imagery.
It is funny looking. I was looking at like
Can I just say, I just don't want to interject. I don't want to be mean. Dark Knight has Jesus imagery. Harvey Dent is a
every
Jesus
fucking
figure.
every movie. has
Yeah, okay,
Jesus.
sorry.
But I think it's funny to look back at like
An hour and 18.
That's fine.
it's funny to look back at like MCU and just look at the Wikipedia for when they come out because it's very easy to track your own life throughout Marvel movies,
Right,
which is
it's
a weird
insane,
thing.
isn't
Like,
it?
Yeah.
especially because I'm like 2015, I was like, oh shit, that was the year I like went out of college and I was working for a year, and then also forgot Age of Ultron comes out 2015. Civil War was the year after. There was only one movie in between though. It was
no.
Ultron,
Ultron was-
Ant-Man,
that's-
Civil War.
Ultron was
Winter Soldier.
2014.
Winter Soldier comes out.
Winter Soldier was 2014.
Was that before Ultron?
No, Ultron's 2014. Ultron
No,
came out in-
so
Yes,
Ultron
it
was
did.
2015
It did. I
because
know
Captain
this
America,
stuff.
Winter Soldier, and Guardians were 2014.
Check it.
I will.
Is Ultron actually 2014? I'm actually
It's
thinking it right
2015.
now. Is it actually?
I'm pretty sure.
We
I'm
haven't
pretty
even-
sure Winter Soldier comes out of Ultron.
No,
It's
2015. 2015.
Ultron was
Because I remember 2015 was like going to be the biggest year in the world.
It was huge. What else was coming out that year? That was so
Star wasn't it Force Awakens 15?
big. No, Force Awakens is 16.
was
No,
it
Force
six-
Awakens is 15.
Yeah,
Because
because it was like
16.
it was like Age of
I'm
Ultron,
old. I'm
Age of
getting old.
Ultron, Force Awakens, New James Bond, Jurassic World. Every major blockbuster was
I remember
2015.
this. Do you remember the first trailer for Ultron? It has the Pinocchio, no strings on
Yeah,
me?
no strings on me.
That's a great trailer. There are
Doesn't
no strings.
Thingy make
Yeah, Force
reference to
Awakens
that in the film
2015.
as well?
Yeah, he says there when he comes.
Yeah, there
to
are no
the-
strings on me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says there are.
What about
no
free will and
strings.
stuff?
on me. James Spader, by the way, who's great as Ultron. That movie sucks.
Right, but I want.
Let's talk about Endgame.
Let's talk specifically about Endgame.
So,
because
tell me, guys, what's your first impressions of Avengers Endgame?
Infinity War was way better.
I absolutely loved Endgame.
I loved it as well.
Endgame was kind of unsatisfying.
Yeah, so Fergus gave it a 3 out of 5 on his letterbox.
Okay,
I
so I just want to say, I called the end of Endgame.
You called it part of the
like a year ago.
Yeah, you did. I will be fair to you. Remember we were waiting for a bus like in February. Remember that? And we were waiting to go to a party, and you said to me, "He's definitely gonna live in the past." And I was like, "Shut up, Lawrence." You know,
he's gonna live in his life.
Makes sense.
Oh, by the way, Endgame spoilers.
Can I get as well? I called him wielding Thor's hammer.
You did.
And you said that was bullshit, and he wields his
I
hammer.
just thought it was gonna be a joke from Ultron when they're like, "Oh, couldn't if the hammer goes up an elevator, is that worthy?"
Yeah,
and I was like, they just understand that Thor is dumb.
It makes perfect sense though in Captain America's arc, like because he's a perfect man.
Okay, so it
makes sense that he's.
So this is an argument I had the other day with someone.
Wait, before we go any further, I also called it that they were going to kill Thanos. So.
So an argument I had to do with someone was.
I called it that they were going to follow up Infinity War and they were going to make a movie that was set after Infinity War.
Well, let's continue.
So someone was saying to me like, it doesn't make any like she was like it makes it. I don't understand why like I don't like Captain America's end because it doesn't feel like Captain America, and I was like that's precisely the point. Because
wait, sorry. What movie are you talking about?
Endgame.
What are you talking about?
The way that Endgame ends with
love
Captain
that.
America.
That's perfect.
Right, no, but someone was saying to me, I disliked. Someone was saying to me, I dislike the way Captain America ends
Okay.
because it doesn't feel like Captain America.
Okay.
But that's literally the point.
Yeah, it is.
The whole point is Captain America's fought his whole life, and for once he's reached this weird sort of zenith of self-enlightenment, where he's realised I can now live my life
Yeah.
Yes.
selfishly.
his
For
whole-
once,
yeah.
he can be selfish, which is a weird thing. To be like, oh, his character arc is he became selfless.
Yeah, but a lot of his
Selfish.
life he's been manipulated,
Yeah.
so he even lives in the wrong time period. That he's
Essentially,
meant
him
to.
and Iron Man swap places,
Yeah.
Yes.
which is
Perfect.
excellent.
It is excellent.
So like he decides I can for once live my life, which is why I predicted that happening. Because I was like, it makes sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me that Captain America dies.
No, it
No.
doesn't.
It makes absolutely no sense to me
It
that
makes
he would
sense that
die.
Iron Man dies. It makes perfect sense.
That makes a lot of sense to me that Iron Man dies. It makes no sense to me that Captain America dies because why would he die? If he was to die, it would be for something else.
Yeah.
But
I
for
agree
once,
with
he
that.
gets to live his life out, and it's good. That's a good end for him.
Yeah.
Whereas
I think-
Iron Man, on the other hand, as you said to me, warmonger to peace, like he sacrificed himself, save everything.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
So I've been thinking about this more because I said to Lawrence when we were first talking about the movie, Iron Man goes from being a warmonger to being someone that sells weapons to being someone that literally saves the galaxy, saves the universe. It's more than that as well. I think from the beginning in Iron Man, the whole arc in Iron Man is he realizes the damage his weapons have done, and he decides I need to protect everyone at all costs, and that literally fundamentally changes his arc through all the movies because that's why in Civil War he disagrees
Yeah.
with. Cap.
And it's so weird that we've never seen him in an Iron Man suit since Iron Man 3 when he gave it all up.
That's a weird ending. That's one of the things that I don't get. I think that's because Shane Black was like, yeah, it makes sense. I don't think Shane Black knew they were making another
Yeah,
movie.
well, bear in mind, that was the first movie post Avengers, the first one.
It is,
Where
yeah.
it's kind of like the new landscape, like, what the fuck do we build up? I guess we're building up to Thanos. But they're probably still like, don't even know if we're going to get that far.
They were probably like, Iron Man makes a lot of money.
I mean, to be fair, there's a dissonance between all the films. Like Ragnarok
Yeah.
is all about
Yeah.
Thor doesn't need like the
Never
hammer
needs
he
it.
scores, and then Infinity War starts and he's like, I need a weapon.
I love it in this movie where, actually, it's a great part in this movie where he gets the hammer and he's like, I can't believe I'm still worthy. Like, I love
yeah.
that scene because he's like, he's been so down on his luck, obviously. We're going to talk about it for more later.
Also,
actually.
Iron Bro in the film.
Yeah, let's talk about the whole Thor bit because that's one of the best bits of the movie.
Whoa,
Let's talk
should
about it
we kind of
later.
introduce...
No, can I want to talk a little bit more
Okay.
about Iron Man's arc? So, the whole thing is like, in Ultron, he wants to protect the world with a shield of armor. And he literally says that to
Yes.
Steve.
Mm.
And I mean, he's like, what did I say about having a shield of armor around the world? And you neglected that in the whole scene. And in the end of the movie, Pepper Potts literally says to him, it's okay. You can rest now. You've saved us. You've protected the world. And I was like, I mean, for instance, Iron Man's my favorite character. And that really, that's when I teared up. I was like, oh man. I was like, firstly, I love Robert Downey Jr. Secondly, that's such a perfect end to his arc. And I love the fact that the Russos stuck with Pepper Potts, despite the fact that not a lot of people really
Gwyneth
like
Everyone
Paltrow's-
hates Gwyneth Paltrow.
Fucking
Nobody
hate.
really likes Gwyneth
I
Paltrow.
hate her so
I like
fucking
the
much.
fact that they were like, yeah, let's have her in an Iron Man
Like,
suit.
you know the bit where he's talking with his kid, and he's like, "Oh, your mommy's resting right now." I'm like, "Oh, thank fuck, they got rid of her. She's not gonna be in it." And then the next thing they cut to her, I'm like, "Fuck,"
Yeah, she's...
because she was also like, "Yeah, I'm done with it," or whatever. So-
I like Gwyneth Paltrow. I don't hate her like other people do. I think she's fine. I don't see why people hate her.
Yeah, I agree.
I think she's fine.
Do you not remember when she was trying to sell crystals for like thousands of
No,
dollars
but like
that did
most
nothing?
actors are mental.
Yeah,
They're
I'm,
mental,
I'll,
but-
I'll accept that. It's fine. I'll buy the crystals. It's okay. I like
If
Iron
it
Man.
saves Iron Man, I'll do it.
That
Fucking hell.
scene where she's like, I love the fact that it's not Cap that says the final words to him, it's her. Because if you notice, I mean, throughout this whole thing, she's the through line in his life. And the fact that Cap literally had a disagreement. Cap looks at him and is like, oh, it's okay, you can rest now. That kind of scene I think it's perfect, and especially it completes their arc from Civil War. I think it's a perfect arc. And his funeral, seeing that proof that Tony Stark has a heart made me just
That was quite nice.
my
Oh,
heart,
yeah, I remember,
my
yeah.
heart.
I understood that. That's from Iron Man.
I was literally like, I was almost about to cry. And seeing, I don't know if you guys noticed, the boy from Iron Man 3.
Well, at first I was like,
Is
"What the
in
fuck
the-
is that?" And then everyone was like, "It's the boy from Iron Man 3." I was like, "Oh,
And I like Iron Man
I still
3.
don't really get. I still really get why he's there.
no,"
love
because Peter
Iron Man
Parker
3.
is his new son replacement,
Don't
basically.
care. I love Iron Man 3. I think that movie does
Yeah, when
way
he
too
co-
much
when
hate.
Peter Parker comes at the end and it's like Mr. Dark. I'm like, oh no, don't do it to me.
That's the only part of the ending I didn't like. I was like, why are they they're just doing the Endgame, they're doing the Infinity War, they're just reversing it and making the audience go, oh, I was like, gets Tony Stark, he barely knows Peter Parker, fuck off, let him talk to fucking Gwyneth Paltrow.
No, because
he
he's
barely
like
knows.
he's like a
Peter
surrogate
Parker.
for his child.
Yeah.
But he barely
Like
knows him.
he's basically his first child.
I know, but he has an actual child with
Yeah, I know,
Pepper
but
Potts.
Fucking dumbass child. Who gives
I
a shit?
did not want Peter Parker. I was like, Peter Parker needs to get out of this scene right now. I think it would be better if he talked to Cap. And it makes more sense if he talks to Captain America. I wish that I know I said it's okay that Cap just looks at him. I really wish that like his last words were to Cap was "I'm sorry" or something like that for everything he did, because Iron Man, his whole arc is he realizes basically what he's done wrong. That's his whole arc. I feel like he needed to say to.
I feel that's communicated pretty badly. I think the whole thing of
Yeah.
like the consequences of Civil War were really not delved into that much.
Yeah,
Like
right.
the only thing they delve into it is in Infinity War, where it's
They're
like
never on screen together.
where it's just like, oh, you gotta call Cap. He might know what Vision is, and he's like, no, we're not really gonna speak in terms.
It's like
So
a
then
breakup.
and then Mark Ruffalo gets his phone, and is like, hey Cap, we need Vision. And that's it.
Yeah, I know.
And that's
I know.
that's really all the consequences are.
Oddly enough, directed by the Russo brothers. You think they would have focused on that a little bit more?
Yeah, and especially I kind of want to talk. I don't want to jump right into the fucking end of it. I was wanting more to talk about like how we were going into this movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Sorry, we jumped the gun a little bit. I think me and Lawrence were really excited just about the ending. I think me and Lawrence were both excited because we both predicted 2 parts to the ending, and me and Lawrence were both collectively very excited.
I
But-
still think it's the best part of the film.
And
I want to see this film just again, just to see the last hour.
He thinks that that's the worst part of the movie. We were speaking about this
That's
earlier.
interesting.
Fergus does not think the
That-
third act is the best. You think the first act is
I
the
think it's
best,
the
right?
best part.
no, second.
You think the second
Time
act?
travel, yeah.
Interesting.
Time
Do you
travel's
want to talk about it a
probably
little
more.
bit
Well, all right. Let's go through it chronologically. Right.
So you start with Iron Man, 2008.
Well, no.
So,
Let's go from
there was an
Infinity.
idea.
Let's go from no. Let's go from Infinity War, right? Going into Infinity War, did you guys think it was going to be a good movie?
That's a good question.
Because I went to Infinity War thinking it was going to be a big mess,
I thought it was gonna be good.
I thought it was going to be a mixed bag. I didn't know.
And
If
then-
I didn't know if they were going to stick the landing.
and then Infinity War like blew my mind. I'm like, holy fuck, they actually
I
pulled
came
it off.
into Infinity War thinking Iron Man's probably gonna die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone thought.
At
that.
that point,
And-
see, I was like on the poster of Infinity War. He has his
He-
arms
he-
out like
yeah,
Jesus.
he's-
I was
he's-
like,
he's
he's
got
got to
the Jesus
sacrifice
force, yeah.
himself. Yeah.
I think that's very on purpose.
I don't want to spend too much
He
time. on
eventually
Infinity War.
does in Endgame. I think that's what they were alluding to.
Right,
But
but,
anyway,
like yeah,
But the whole thing about Infinity War is I watched it the night before I saw Endgame. It's so tight a movie. It's
tight,
so
as tight as anything.
brilliant, like in the fact that how they blend characters together. And bear in mind, I went into Infinity War being like, I'm done with superheroes. I don't
Yeah.
give a crap.
What was, the
Whatever.
last one, what was the last superhero movie you watched before you saw Infinity War? Because I think that shapes your opinion as well. Because you're like, I'm done. Because I was in the same mind as you. I think I just watched.
I don't know. I usually like, keep up to date. At that point, the only one I hadn't seen was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I think I had seen that man. No,
that came
Ant-Man
just
was
after.
after.
That came just after.
Was it
Yeah,
after?
that was August. Yeah, no, it was July. And
Well, because
it
honestly,
was
before it
May.
was then. Yeah,
April.
because
Black Panther.
I still think the best.
Yes, it was Black Panther. You hated it.
Well, I didn't hate it. I just thought it was like, it's just it's a Marvel
exactly,
movie.
Yeah.
But then also the previous year was 2017, where my favorite MCU movies ever, Thor Ragnarok, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and Spider-Man Homecoming, they're probably my 3 favorite MCU movies.
Really? Wait, Guardians 2?
Yeah, Guardians 2 is phenomenal.
Guardians 2
It's
is
kind of
Guardians 2 is
Watch it
mediocre.
again.
I've seen it
I've
twice.
seen it twice.
I've seen it twice too. I don't
'cause-
like it.
Well, the first time I saw Guardians 2, the first time I was like, oh, well, that's a bit disappointing. That was a bit more boring than the first one. I watched it again, and it's like, that's an amazing movie. Not just an amazing superhero movie, that's an amazing movie.
Guardians 2 is one of the few MCU films that has no bearing on anything.
The first Guardians, yeah, I
The
showed.
second one. The
I
second
think
one has
the
no
majority of the
bearing.
movies have no bearing on it.
My mum was like, I want to get into the MCU, and I was like, well, you need to watch them in order. And my mum's like, I don't like Iron Man. And I was like, okay. I was like, what one do I own on Blu-ray? I was like, fine, you watch Guardians then. I guess it doesn't have much influence on anything, really, aside from introducing.
Yeah, but that's why I like
That's
them,
got
because they have no
Yeah.
influence.
Well,
There's
that's
no
what I'm saying.
bullshit.
It's got Infinity Stones.
That's what I'm like, and I rewatched it with her, and I'm like, Guardians is a great movie. I like Guardians a lot. It's a bit kind of plainly shot. I think it could be shot a bit more. I think it's kind of plain.
That's one of the things I loved about Endgame. When they show him at the start dancing about,
Oh,
because that was
that's
a
great.
great scene in Guardians, and he's like dancing about, and he's
And
got
then-
the
and then-
playing thing, and it just cuts, and it's just him singing like an idiot, and he just smack him in the face.
Oh, right.
I fucking love that.
Rhodey literally turns to Gamora, to Nebula, and is like, so he's an idiot. It's literally the line.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of basically the whole point of, like, Guardians, where they're all trying to, like, improve themselves. The whole point of why
Yeah.
the kiss between Gamora and Star-Lord is, like, such a big thing, because Guardians 1 and 2, they're both accepting that. They're not complete humans, that they're trying to, like, Gamora's trying to, like, not be a product of abuse, Star-Lord's trying to not be a product of
Grief.
grief and abandonment of his parents, and I really think Guardians 2 is really fantastic, and the fact that it ends on a CGI raccoon crying, and I think it's like one of the most brilliant imagery in the whole series, speaks a lot of volumes.
It's
But
interesting that you think that, because I remember we talked about it when it first came out.
yeah, I
You
really
were
didn't
a
like.
huge
I really
fan
didn't
of
like it. I
It's
really didn't
interesting.
like it. And now Volume 2, I think is amazing.
I'll be honest with you, I think I've seen it twice. I watched it once on Blu-ray, and I think I saw it once in cinemas, and I thought it was kind of meh. I still thought it was meh when I saw it on Blu-ray.
I think
First time I saw it, I really liked it. Second time I saw it was just like on Now TV afterwards, and I was just kind of like, it's a fine film.
I
It's
watched a
fine, no,
lot.
it's totally fine.
I watched a lot of explanations about it on like what it really means and how they go into like. Anyway, right. Let's not talk about Guardians. Let's talk about Infinity War. Right.
Yeah, we're really off. We're talking about Holy MCU. Let's just focus on
Infinity War blew my mind because I think I had the same thing in my mind of like, all right, so Infinity War is going to end when the Hulk beats up Thanos. They do that in the first 2 minutes. What? There's a dog barking outside?
No, it's not dog barking. That's a man.
It's just Edinburgh.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just Scotland.
something like that.
But and the fact that happens in the first 2 minutes of the movie, and I realized, holy shit, I'm fucking loving this.
Yeah, me too.
And
Do you not think instantly Thanos? He's a
Thanos
threat.
is a brilliant villain, which he's got so
Yeah,
much.
something Infinity War
He's
does
so
very,
dead,
very well.
and it's why I don't like Endgame because they go back to past Thanos, and he's just a regular ass villain.
No, so this is something.
He's
this
just
is
a 2D villain.
This is something So coming into Infinity War, I really like the start of Infinity War because it starts and everyone's just pissed off.
Yeah.
And the film is actually very quick at the start. Like
Yeah.
Very
the
quick.
pacing of it is very quick. Like even like it brings in like this how music is like do and it's just very quick. It's like here's Endgame. We're going.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, you mean Infinity War?
No, Endgame.
Endgame, right?
When it brings into the it
Oh,
brings
okay,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
title. It brings in the title card,
Yeah, I thought that.
and it's just like do, and we're moving
The
on.
time
Yeah.
card comes in like 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I liked how
I-
fast everything was moving because going into this film, I was thinking, what's actually this film going to be about?
Yeah.
Like, where is the conflict? Because I was expecting Thanos' whole point is to get this thing done, and afterwards he's done that. I see no point in Thanos anymore. So I was like, they're gonna go find Thanos. He's gonna have no fight with them because he doesn't have to. He's done his job,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, I
He goes
love
and he's
that.
just farmer Thanos, which is
I
great.
love this. Great, yeah.
But I like that the build up to that is them just all really pissed off and they have no plan. They're just like, we found out where he is, and they're just like, we're gonna go now, and they have no plan. And they get there, and even they're surprised, like there's no one protecting him or anything.
Yeah, I think Captain Marvel mentions there's nobody
Yeah, there's
like,
literally
watching
nothing.
this planet.
Even they have no plan. They just go and like, we found him. They get there, they're surprised. There's no protection or anything. We're just gonna dive in, and they just get in. It's very quick. They cut off his arm, and I'm like, this is great.
See,
Like,
that
this
was
is what I
weird
was
to me, where
expecting.
it was just like they were like, we had double the amount of people with we had a vague plan and we failed, and I was like, why do you think it's gonna succeed now? Where there's half of them
So that's what I like. I
Thanos
like,
is on his
I
home
like the
ground.
fact that I think they were just so like, we lost. We need to correct this immediately, and they're just so pissed off. They're like, they have the thing like, oh, what's wrong with him?
I guess since they
And,
have
he,
Captain
and like
Marvel as
they're
well.
talking about Thor, and he's just like, he just blames himself for everything.
Yeah.
And I like the way that he just, out of anger, just chops off Thanos' head, and he's just like, I went for the head.
Aim for the
Yeah.
head.
And then it just brings in the title card, and you're like, okay, now we're getting to the film.
Yeah.
We've dealt with everything that, all the repercussions from Infinity War were dealt with within that first 15 minutes.
Does the title card come in earlier than that? Because I
No,
remember
they cut off his head, and
Oh,
that's
really?
that's the title card.
It is.
I have
yeah.
some weird memory of being like, that is
wait,
when
hang on. Isn't the
I
title
think it's
card
earlier.
when
I'm
Cap
pretty- 'cause
I
says,
remember-
we're going to go do it, and then the
I
title
think
card-
that's-
I'm pretty sure it's when they cut.
'Cause I remember
I'm
when-
pretty positive
I
it's
remember when Thanos-
Cap says it.
Because I have the memory of like when Thanos dies, being like, that would be the perfect moment for the title card, just to be
not,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck do we do now?
I think it was.
How many times have you seen it? Once.
Once.
I'm pretty sure the title card comes in when Cap says we need to go do this now.
I think
And
so.
then-
I think
and then
that's
the
when it
title card
happened.
comes, and then it's them.
Oh,
in
because then
space.
it's 5 years later, isn't it?
No,
Well,
no, no,
They
Oh.
cut off his head, and then it cuts to black,
No.
and it's 5 years later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Yes.
right.
Which is a really long 5 years later title card. It was
Yeah.
like 5 years later.
No, this is.
Earth time,
I want to talk about the opening scene.
GMT.
Why I like that opening scene so much. So, firstly, I went into it. I did not spoil myself. I was like, I need to not.
No,
know
I knew
anything.
literally nothing.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
love the fact that they were basically like they kind of addressed every fan theory. Captain Marvel will beat him. And it's like, yeah, Captain Marvel does,
Yeah.
and then he just dies. It's like, yeah, great.
No, I
And then-
thought it was great. Yeah.
and it just gets straight to the point, and then it deals with the grief. And then we
Yeah.
have that sort of like semi-post-apocalyptic movie that lasts for about 45 minutes. And we see that. I love the scene when Black Widow's talking to everybody, and Black Widow's like, we kind of have nothing to do. And she's just like, yeah, you go over there. And you go over there. And they have nothing to do, because literally there is nothing. And obviously they're tracking Hawkeye. Which, by the way, great opening. I love the fact that they open on Hawkeye and his family dying. I think that works really, really well. I like it because, firstly, we didn't see Hawkeye at all in Infinity War, and I think it works if you watch them in succession. You're like, oh, where was Hawkeye?
I heard that
And then
like
you see him.
Yeah, they were
The original
thinking, they were
plans,
thinking of
yeah.
putting that in Infinity War.
Like the
Where's-
original,
whereabouts were they
the
thinking
original
of putting
plan
it?
was Thanos snaps, cuts to black, it opens on Hawkeye with his family,
I'm glad
and then
they
it
did
shows repercussions.
I'm really glad they didn't do that. I'm really glad they moved that to Infinity War. That makes a lot of sense why... sorry, Endgame. I think that makes a lot of sense why in all the publicity photos for Endgame, Hawkeye was there. Hawkeye's in a lot of like the big promo shots they did of all the characters, and that's why everyone was like, where is he in this movie?
I don't know why people give a shit about Hawkeye.
I like
Yeah,
it.
he's a boring character. He's a shit character.
It's
I
the
think
first
he
at
works
the
really
end,
well.
like-
Shit character. He
No.
doesn't do anything.
I disagree entirely. I think he works really well because he worked really well.
What did he do in this
Black
movie?
Widow.
What did he do in Endgame?
I think
He
works-
ran down that tunnel.
No, I think he works.
No,
really...
I like Hawkeye in this film, but up to this point, Hawkeye is a shit character.
Yeah, because there's a whole joke in Age of Ultron where
I actually do like that a lot. I like that a
There's
lot.
a whole joke about like the whole team would fall apart if I wasn't here. You know, the whole joke when he gets hurt and is getting healed. And in Age of Ultron, the movie nobody remembers. But there's a whole section. I quite, for one, I like the Hawkeye stuff in this movie. I like the fact his relationship with Black Widow I loved. I love the fact that they're both so selfless they try to kill each other. That whole sequence in Volmir is great.
I was just like, get on with it.
No, I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah,
because
that's I do a lot.
do you not think
I like
it
it at the
fits with their
start, and then-
character arcs, right? It makes a lot of sense. Who did you think was going to kill themselves? I actually honestly thought Hawkeye was going to do it because...
Well, no, because
No,
I was
I
like,
was
Hawkeye's
just-
got to see his family again. So
Yeah,
he's not
I know.
gonna
I
be
was just basically because it makes sense that like Hawkeye has something to go for.
Really?
That's the point
Like,
where
no,
they both jump off, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
The first scene is his family dying,
Yeah.
so you know immediately he's got something to fight for.
Yeah.
It's his family.
I disagree.
She has nothing to fight for.
No, I disagree. I think the whole thing... I really thought, well, he's done this bad thing. He's actually disgraced his family. That's the whole point. That's why Black Widow literally at the start is like, this is not you. And then I thought he's going to sacrifice this life he's had for the greater good.
that's-
I also,
Sorry,
I
don't
also
know what-
thought, what the fuck of a character arc does Black Widow have?
She has no character arc.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
bye.
It is so weird to me that they've killed her and now they've got a Black Widow film coming
Yeah,
out.
so
Yeah.
it'll be a
It will be,
prequel.
and like I presume because like they mentioned her father's name, and she's like, I don't know that, so that's a lead into the next Black Widow film.
Do you think it was weird they ended the final shot of her is the exact same shot they had of Gamora in Infinity War? You don't notice that? It's the exact same shot.
Well,
like,
yeah, I
zooming
mean,
in.
it's-
I was like, I think a lot of people, me included, were just like,
Because just be like, she's dead.
you know when this scene starts, I will give Ferguson one thing, you're like, well, I know how this is going to end.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like,
You're there's only one way
Also,
this can end.
going into it, you're like, okay, they're finding out where the Infinity Stones are, and you're like, well, I know where one of them is.
Also-
and I know what has to happen.
Also, Nebula must have fucking knew that you got to sacrifice someone for the Soul Stone because
Right.
Gamora told her. So
Oh,
she's
wait,
like,
I didn't realise
she's
that.
like, hey, you guys go over there. Yeah, you guys do that one.
Wait,
I'll do the other one.
When does Gamora tell him that?
Gamora and
No,
Nebula
not
both know.
Gamora, Nebula. Because Nebula should obviously know that Volmir requires a sacrifice, but she never tells anybody.
Why does she know that?
Because she knows it.
Because Gamora, both know. Gamora knew before, and she told
Thanos
Nebula.
didn't know that until he got there.
Yeah, but they didn't tell Thanos.
But-
Gamora told Nebula, though.
But Nebula talks about it, how she's
Yeah.
like, only one person returned from Volmir, and it was Thanos.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she obviously kind of understands it as herself that Thanos had to sacrifice Gamora. So it felt weird to me. I agree with Fergus that why did she not tell them, hey, by the way, one of you are gonna die?
She's like, I know these two the least. They can go that one.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could.
Iron Man
like,
go Manhattan.
that film could be set up with like Nebula and War Machine. Who gives a shit?
I remember watching listening to a podcast where you could do a whole movie just set in that post-apocalyptic first act. There's a whole movie there that they cut very quickly through.
It's pretty much you can do a whole movie for each
Well,
act.
that's
Yeah.
one thing. One thing I'm slightly interested for Far From Home is how they're going to deal with the repercussions, because everyone comes back and then you see that like it's all the kill Thanos is happy ever after, and you see the scene of like Spider-Man goes back to school and he sees his mate,
Yeah.
and I was like, hang on a minute,
It's
Yeah.
5 years later. How?
it's 5 years later, so like some people in this year might
'Cause then-
be 5 years older. Like
Yeah.
how does this like?
Well, because then
There's
I
so
heard...
many repercussions for like some people might have moved on from relationships, and then their wife comes back or their husband comes back and is like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm with someone else for the past 5 years."
Because I heard Joe and Anthony Russo say like, "Oh yeah, Ned was also killed in the snap." I'm like, okay, fine. But then you remember in the
Nebula? She's dead in the snap at the end of an Endgame?
what? No, Ned, his friend Ned.
Oh, so I thought you said Nebula. I was like,
And
what?
but then I was like, in the trailer for Far From Home, you see every other one of his friends is also.
Mary
It's like
Jane is there as
so
well,
like
yeah.
every
Yeah.
single one
So
of
it's
them also.
just happened every
They
single
all,
one of them
all
got
twins,
snapped.
which maybe a
Because
plot point or
otherwise they'd
something.
all be 5 years older. That is one thing. So the film was like, this is good, but also there's some problems here.
Very
Do you
weird.
know the fact that Nick Fury only turns up for 2 seconds in this movie?
Yeah.
I thought it was very weird that the end credits. Why the heck was there not a scene between him and Captain? You guys haven't seen Captain Marvel, but that's the whole central relationship of that
Yeah.
movie. I was like, why is there not a scene between those two?
Because this was filmed before Captain Marvel.
It was.
Was it actually?
Yeah, it was. Because you remember there was
It
a
was
whole.
filmed before Captain.
It was
That blows my
because you remember
mind.
because I remember there was a whole thing where in this movie Captain Marvel wears like heavy makeup like lipstick and eyeliner and
Does she
stuff.
actually? Oh,
yeah,
she does. Yeah,
and
you're
so
right.
people are like the fuck the Russo brothers they're doing the male
Sexist.
gays are given a bunch of makeup.
Yeah, right.
And then like no, actually Brie Larson has her own makeup team and they decided that and then they retroactively decided for Captain Marvel
No
that she
makeup.
shouldn't wear as heavy
Do
makeup.
you
You
know
know,
what?
in
Do you know what?
New Asgard.
Yeah, I do.
That's filmed in Scotland.
Is it?
They filmed
really?
at the same time they were filming Infinity War,
Really?
and they just didn't say. They were just
Oh, shit!
while they were here, they just very sneakily snuck out, filmed
Very
that,
clever. Good work.
and then didn't say anything to anyone.
so
Wow.
we're located in Scotland. That's great.
So as someone who was on the set for Infinity War, I didn't even know that.
That's actually pretty amazing. And actually, I'll say this because I
I
want
assumed it was Norway or something.
Do you know, I want to say this. Captain Marvel, I like a lot more than a lot of other people do. A lot of people criticize it. I
A
think
lot of
I've
other
almost-
white, you like it a lot better than other white males.
Most white males hate it. I like it. I like Brie Larson. I think that movie is fine. I like it. I think it's got a good character arc for her character. Whatever. No, actually, no. Her character is crap. But some of the other character arcs are great in that movie. I thought she was really disappointing in it.
She was crap in this
The
movie.
fact that they're just like, here's Captain. Okay, let's put her away because she's
Well, yeah.
too
No,
powerful.
no, no.
Yeah,
for
it's
the rest
basically-
of the
let's bring it
scenes.
back. Let's
It's
bring it back.
basically they knew she was a Deus Ex
Yeah.
machine, and just like she was like, we'll put her away for most of the film because otherwise she breaks everything.
But
Why
our,
did she go away?
but
Was it
our,
earthquakes.
but our
No,
perception
but no,
of it,
no, that, it made sense to me because she was like, oh, the rest of the universe is fucked up. I have to
Yeah.
be on other planets to help
Really
them,
makes sense.
just
It
like we're doing to
kind
you.
of-
I have to help them. It made a lot of sense to me. But
But
it's
as well,
just a Deus Ex.
it's earthquakes are occurring everywhere. It's like, oh, I guess it's Captain Marvel 2 or something. But as well, our perception of it, Infinity War ends, the fucking blinker goes, Captain Marvel, oh fuck, she's gonna save the day. Captain Marvel comes out, she's the Thanos killing person.
She basically
Endgame, she's in it for 5 minutes.
She is, yeah. It's
She
a
drops
little
in Tony Stark's ship,
lackluster.
goes away, and at the end, she gets her ass kicked and doesn't really.
No,
I
she
think
doesn't
it's-
get her arse kicked. She kicks.
no,
Thanos'
that's like
arse.
She
that's
destroys-
that's a good move.
She also
like,
dilutes.
That's
Power
the thing
Stone.
where he drops the Power Stone. I was like,
That was
oh,
cool.
fuck.
But her inclusion also dilutes Tony Stark's sacrifice.
No, I disagree. I think it works. Fine.
Tony Stark, he sacrificed himself to use the Infinity Gauntlet
Yeah.
to wipe out all Thanos' forces. 5 minutes earlier, Captain Marvel just came in, destroyed the ship and a bunch of the forces.
But notice how
Wait
she
fucking
can't,
5 minutes.
Notice how
no more.
she can't. Does that actually fight Thanos? She gets hit by Thanos. Thanos takes the Power Stone out, puts it in his own hand, and fucking knocks her halfway across the galaxy.
Yeah, so take out a bunch of other minions. Like, alright, guys, there's like fucking 20 million of us. Let's just all group up and
But
battle.
Thanos is very Thanos has all the stones at that point. I think you're forgetting that. Thanos has literally all the power in the galaxy at that point. He literally could distort.
Yeah,
Thanos'
but then
face.
at another point they're able to nick it and get it on someone else.
They
so,
are, but they're only able to nick it because of Thanos' hubris. That's the whole point. Thanos is so.
So
Thanos
what part of
becomes-
Thanos' hubris includes Captain Marvel?
because she wasn't able to stop him. So basically, that she's stopping him from closing his hand, the same way they were all trying to do it on the scene in Titan in Infinity War. But she is only stopped once Thanos takes the Power Stone out, knocks her away. At that time, Iron Man is able to intervene. So I think it makes perfect sense.
So like,
I don't know. I think it was.
I think it's fine.
just
And I
bad.
think you're
one
all
thing
just
you were saying was that
sexist.
in this film, Thanos becomes like a classic comic villain,
I like
right?
that.
Whereas but it makes a lot of sense to me because, like, basically he's just found out. Oh, I actually win.
Yeah, right.
I've already won.
Yeah, and I was like,
And-
oh shit.
Like, and this is like 4 years before he's actually won. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like
5 years more.
5 years.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, I've already found out I'm basically a god, and he's in that mindset where he's like, I am. That's why he says I'm inevitable because like I've already won everything.
Have you I rewatched Guardians recently with my mum, as I just said, and the Thanos in that, I'm like, that is the Thanos they apparently have in Infinity.
Yeah, it would be that same.
And
Yeah.
it's really crazy to see because I was like, oh yeah, I can see this Thanos seeing I'm a god. And
Like
just
he's basically just
realising-
he's been going along, and he's just found out immediately. Like, oh, you already completed it. Like, don't worry about it. You've completed everything.
Yeah.
You win everything already. So he's got this like hubris going on. He's miles ahead. He's thinking he's a god at this point.
Yeah, that's why he's so That's why every single time you see him in this movie, he's literally just sitting down. He's like, you do it. He's like,
Yeah.
I know you're going to get the stones. It's fine. Go get the gauntlet for me. I'll literally wait here for the Avengers to come and meet me. That's literally in the final battle. He sits down.
Yeah.
And he puts his. He's
And
like,
I thought
"You
that
come
was
to me."
excellent.
I thought it was just so fucking boring. I'm just like, oh, he's just like every other Marvel villain.
I like
Where he's
that
just,
a lot.
it's the bad guy. Gotta stop the bad guy because he's bad.
I love the part where he beats the crap out of Captain America's shield so hard it breaks, and then Captain America's standing on his own, and everyone comes.
I like that he
So-
doesn't even know who they are, and he's just like,
yeah,
but you've pissed me off now.
yeah.
I can't even tell
So-
what's happening in the final battle.
There's a great line where it starts.
It's just CGI soup.
No, I disagree. Scarlet Witch says, "You took everything from me," and he goes, "I don't even know you." That's a great line. And then she goes, "You will," and then she chucks everything
pretty
on
funny.
him. I think that's great.
The one thing I was also annoyed about the last battle is like I felt like I wanted more like reconnections of
So,
people.
I-
Like, a
I
lot of
agree.
times
I
they just
agree.
like give a nod and that's it. And I'm like, you're apart from 5
So
years.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, they're just like,
So you guys
all
didn't
right.
see
So,
Ant-Man and the
like,
Wasp?
the Russo brothers said, like, they had a planned scene where it just, like, everything kind of slowed down and everyone kind of talked to each other in a trench. But they realised, like, this slows it down way
I can
too
understand
much.
that.
Really? Okay, yeah.
Like,
that
it makes
sense.
no sense. So this fight is just stopped so that all the characters can talk to each other.
Yeah.
So they cut it out.
Oh,
I understand that, but I feel like I just wanted like 1 or 2 lines of just like the Guardians reuniting
Actually,
and
I do kind of agree. But at that point, I was so overwhelmed already. As soon as like Captain America, as soon as the portals all start opening, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, it's happening!" and then you get Avengers Assemble, and that's when I was started like a tear slightly started coming. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit!" Like this is because you like it has that plan across absolutely everyone. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god!"
here's the thing. Who
Star-Lord has a moment. He's the only character that gets a moment where he says, "I thought I lost you with Gamora." He's the only
Yeah.
character that gets a moment. Yeah.
There's just so many characters. It is so difficult to have everyone have a moment, and the whole point of the
Yeah.
film is focusing on Iron Man, Cap, Black Widow, Thor.
At
Like
this
it is,
point
it is
also-
focusing on the original characters.
At this point, also, your runtime is 2 hours and 55
Yeah.
minutes. you are
Yeah.
like, what can we cut?
But I feel
here?
like Infinity War also did that, where it's like we're focusing on these characters for the next movie. We're focusing on these characters, and I feel like Infinity War does such a better job of like.
Well, Infinity War doesn't focus on Cap at all. Like
Yeah.
No,
Cap
no,
is
no.
brilliant.
That's what I'm saying. But like they don't focus on Cap at all. But I still felt like he was relevant in the film, and his
Yeah.
lack of focus, I was still like fine with it. I didn't mind it.
But it's just like if you like context of this film has to close out an entire series of films,
Yeah,
and the focus of which is Iron Man and Captain America mostly. You knew like the talk going into this film was, oh, Iron Man and Cap are going to die because everyone knows this is the end of their story.
Yeah.
Which to me I was like, okay, Iron Man's going to die. You can't have both of them die. It doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
But you knew that it was the end of their stories,
Yeah.
and that is what the film is about: is these main characters.
No, yeah, no,
It is
no.
the end for
And
them.
I'm not.
agree
I'm
with
not
that.
criticizing. No, yeah. I don't know what we're all. I don't think we're disagreeing on anything.
We're all fighting
I-
over the same thing.
Like
Alright.
I was just like I agree that like it was obviously meant to focus on Captain America and Tony Stark, but I feel like the characters they didn't focus on that got less of the limelight, they just didn't do as good a job. Like, because I remember of Infinity War, where I watched Doctor Strange, I'm like, alright, so whatever. But Infinity War, he's a great character,
He's
and I'm
great
like, I
in
really
it,
enjoy him,
yeah.
you know? And
He's
even
great in
like,
Infinity War, as you said.
I know the fact that like two of the characters, I remember again thinking of like back to when Guardians of the Galaxy was coming out, where someone's like, "Hey, this is a movie called Guardians of the Galaxy. It's got a character called Rocket Raccoon, and he's a raccoon." I'm like, that's the dumbest fucking thing I ever heard. And now the two characters I care most about in the series are Nebula and Rocket Raccoon.
You care most about them?
Yeah, Rocket Raccoon is probably the character I care most about.
Interesting. I came out of this.
He's the
going
character
into this-
arc I want to see progress, or I was most interested
I care
going
most
into
about-
Endgame.
I care most about Cap and Iron Man. And
I was just
got
like,
a satisfied ending for those two characters. Those are my
The
Iron
only
Man-
two characters I cared the least about.
Iron Man is my favorite character. He always has been. Iron Man is
Yeah,
is a great movie. And going into this movie, I was like, his character arc is so perfect. I think the Russo brothers really executed it so well. They understand what they actually Obviously, Jon Favreau has a say in this as well, but they obviously get his character arc. Iron Man it goes from being basically an absolute piece of crap, like really in the
I
first
watched-
Iron Man,
I
to
watched-
being literally the savior of the universe. It's a great character arc.
I watched Robert Downey Jr.'s audition for Iron Man like
His
just
audition?
yesterday, and I was watching it. I was like, "This is so weird because it's such a different character. Like he's just being a complete arsehole in the
Yeah.
entire audition." And I was like, "This is so bizarre."
Yeah,
But like to then come from that, because like his first scene is basically like, "Yeah, I make weapons," and like, and he's just hitting on this woman as well who's like interviewing him.
yeah. Oh, it's a
And,
great scene.
but he's just like, and then to come from that to where we are now, it makes so much sense for his arc.
I see there's a tweet going around where it's "This is the man that Thanos felt threatened by," and it's
I
all
saw
the
that,
scenes
yeah.
from Iron Man 2 where he's like drunk and he's falling over. Like, oh yeah, well, how do I pee in the suit? People ask me.
Yeah.
Just like that. This is a great scene in Iron Man 2.
Yeah. I just feel like I've been oversaturated with Iron Man. I'm just like, well, yeah, he's gonna die.
He
Yeah.
is in a lot. He is in a lot. I can feel why people would be sad. I felt like his addition was most forced in Homecoming, which, by the way, apparently he was paid $5 million a day for.
$5 million a day for 3 days.
Yeah, it's insane.
Which, even then, that was one of the things I was worried about Homecoming, but I actually like his addition to Homecoming a lot. Like, I think I'm
Homecoming's
over...
one of my least favorite movies.
I'd say, like, I think I'm oversaturated with Iron Man, but also I wouldn't remove him from any of the movies.
See, there you go. That's
So I'm
interesting.
kind of at this weird conflict where I feel like my biggest problem with Endgame is I feel it was really satisfying, but I feel it was unsatisfying at the same time. So
Yeah.
I'm in this weird limbo
Yeah.
of I really want to enjoy the movie, but I'm still like there's still like some odd niggles I have.
It's the weirdest. I'm at the weirdest point where the character I like the least is Spider-Man in these movies. I'm like, Tom Holland kind of gets on my nerves.
I like him a lot.
I like Tom Holland a lot. I think he's very
really
charming.
did not like Spider-Man: Homecoming. It bored me so much. And after seeing Into the Spider-Verse, I'm like, yeah, this movie is not a good Spider-Man movie.
I like Homecoming
Such
a lot.
a
Just
boring film.
I like Homecoming a lot because it has a lot lower stakes and kind of shows an every man's view of the
Yeah,
MCU,
I get
which is why I'm kind of worried about him Far From Home because I want to see the kind of like the everyday person's reaction to the snap and everything. But then they're just going on holiday, so
I like that. I think that's fine.
don't
I'm
know.
excited for Far From Home.
like Grant, I
Maybe
think
Jake
what I
Gyllenhaal's
want,
in it.
well, the thing I want is like a neo-realist version of fucking Spider-Man where he goes and talks and saves cats from trees and
Do you know,
talks to people.
the
That's
time-
not gonna happen.
When Jake Gyllenhaal was announced as Mysterio, I just watched Nocturnal Animals.
Oh,
I'm
really?
like, yeah, this guy could play Mysterio. That film is like the hell of a performance from Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
And Jake Gyllenhaal is a great actor. It was great to see him being in a huge, big blockbuster. But Spider-Man: Homecoming bored me to tears. I don't understand how anybody likes that.
I feel like Homecoming is like
Homecoming a lot.
I feel like Homecoming is like the perfect Saturday morning cartoon
Really?
movie.
I think it's
yeah.
so boring.
I think it's so not like
There are no stakes in that movie. I'm like, oh great. Well, he's obviously not gonna die. He's Spider-Man, and literally.
you can say that about every single MCU movie.
Yeah.
You can.
That's
but
ridiculous.
At the same time, I just think the stakes are boring. I think the final action sequence is so dull. I think the cinematography is boring. I think the soundtrack is terrible. I think the direction is flat. I think the dialogue is boring. I hate Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I think in
That's
Civil
such
Andrew
an extreme
Garfield.
reaction.
Civil War, he's so forced. That movie literally pauses to introduce him because they got the rights. So like, here he is.
Yeah.
And I like that movie overall. I think Civil War works mainly because of that ending fight scene is so good. But Tom Holland is like I prefer Andrew Garfield. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Really,
That's
I like Tom Holland a lot.
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I think it's
People
mental.
would hate me for it, but I think Tom Holland
Such an
is
extreme reaction to Homecoming. I
think
really
it's
enjoy it. I
such
think
a
it's
dull-
just a nice little movie.
such a cash grab, and I think that poster is terrible. And that
Oh,
poster,
the voice is terrible.
that
Oh yeah, the
set
poster's
my
terrible,
moods.
but poster's not in the movie.
And then I remember seeing the scene.
Every
that-
Spider-Man movie is a cash grab.
Yeah,
Every single
right.
Marvel movie is a cash
You
grab.
could say it like that, but I felt like this movie was just we got the rights. Let's make it the quickest movie we can possibly fit. Let's set it in a high school because it's easy to film. And that scene where Iron Man comes out, the Iron Man suit looks like garbage.
Every single time someone is depicted in a mech suit, it looks awful.
No, I don't think so.
In Civil War, the amount of times where it's just like a
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
Hulk, like Bruce Banner's in the Hulkbuster in Infinity
That's
War,
Infinity
he just
War,
looks
yeah.
like his head is floating, and he's
Yeah.
like, I was like, ah!
It looks better in Iron Man 2.
The one thing CGI will never get is fucking just people's heads in mech suits. It's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it does look bad. I don't know.
always terrible.
Homecoming just really bored me. I think maybe I saw it in a bad mood. I haven't watched it since I saw it in cinemas, but it just bored me.
Oh, okay.
It's got one good scene. I love the part where he's lifting the thing. He's like, "Come on,
That's a great
Spider-Man."
scene, yeah.
Great scenes lifted right out of the comics.
I like the villain a lot. I think the villain's really great.
The villain bored me to tears.
I think it's really
I did
interesting.
not understand why people liked him.
No,
thought he
I
was
think
Michael
it's,
Keaton.
it's like you see the repercussions of
Yeah.
the Avengers.
He's got motivations.
I don't care.
Like for once, it's like, oh, these superheroes are doing all
Sorry
this
you
shit.
enjoyed
We can
Malekith,
make stuff
the
from
Dark
it.
Elf,
I
more.
didn't enjoy Malik of the Dark Elf more, but I don't understand why anybody gives a toss about the Vulture. He's such a boring villain, and his design is terrible. He looks like a plane. He just looks so
He's
bad.
mechanical, yeah.
Nah, he looks so bad. And there's a scene where he just kills a guy for fun, and that's meant to be played for laughs. I was like, why is that funny? I don't understand any of the
Funny.
humor.
He went into goop.
Did not like that movie, and I think it had to do with the fact that when City Roll played it, they kept the lights on for half the movie.
I think you just have the worst.
You just
You
had
sound like me when I watched
You just
Hereditary for the
did
first
Dylan
time.
curse once again.
Yeah.
I think it was the final act. You know how it's all set on a beach at night, and I think the lights came on early, and I couldn't see anything.
It is a very dark scene.
And I was just like, and then also like,
It's like 2 minutes when they're on that beach.
no, it's a lot longer than that. I think it's like 10 minutes.
It's just when they crash and then.
And then I think the whole thing, I don't know. I just did not find it. I also find Tom Holland kind of annoying. Like, I don't know.
Anyway,
I think he kind of gets on my nerves.
Endgame.
Anyway, so we'll agree that Endgame was pretty shite, and
Endgame
these
was great.
superhero movies really aren't going to take off.
Yeah, when's the next Chris Nolan Batman movie coming out? I want another one.
Once the. See, you know they've got this embargo for it. You can talk about spoilers now.
It's tomorrow.
Is that when they're going to be like, hey, here's Black Panther 2, Doctor Strange 2? Like,
So no. So I wonder what
like
the
when
next
they're
step-
gonna when they're gonna announce the roadmap?
the next step. So we're into phase 4 now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they haven't really said what that is.
Yeah.
And I think
actually,
they're going to take
to be pedantic, I think Kevin Feige was like, actually, Far From Home is the wrap
no,
up
yeah,
of
no,
phase
no,
three.
yeah. Far From Home
yeah.
is like a sort of like just
It's
a
meant-
fun
yeah.
end to
It's maybe the like,
phase 3.
yeah.
Okay.
And then after that,
So when
we don't really know what's coming next. We've got potentially Asgardians of the
Asgard's,
Galaxy.
which
I
I'm fucking,
want-
I'm
I-
excited.
I
I'm
want
excited.
Excited for.
I'm excited for.
Like,
we got Black Panther. We got
I hope
Black Panther.
Force stays slightly fat because that's a lot of fun.
Wait, we've got Black Panther 2, which is apparently going to be
Black
as good
Panther
as The Godfather Part 2. Remember that?
Wait, what?
Yeah, one of the actors said, "Oh yeah, Black Panther 2 is going to be as good as The Godfather Part 2."
It's gonna be the Godfather Part 2 of superhero movies.
But we don't know what the next.
Yeah, that's totally
I feel
not
like
The
I
Dark
feel like
Knight.
the next few films are just going to be for sort of like fun little stories. They're taking a bit of a break from the overall
yeah,
arc.
definitely. I
Like,
think
Far From Home's
That's
going to
what
be
we did
that.
after.
Black Panther's probably going to
it's
be that.
why I think we're gonna have like Black Panther 2, where it's like Doctor Strange 2, where they're gonna be like kind of contained stories, and then they're gonna be like, okay, right, let's try to build something.
What bothers me is how can you go from contained with stakes after this?
It
That's
does
what
blow my
bothers me.
mind of what that writer's room
so
is
now
like.
they have the Fox stuff. So they have Doctor Doom,
That's
which is an
true.
ex.
That's
he's,
true. That's
he's
a
like
good
the
point.
best
And Galactus.
Marvel.
Galactus.
And
Galactus is probably gonna be the next big thing.
Well, they're
It'll
going.
either be Doctor Doom or Galactus, I think.
You know they're doing an Eternals movie,
Yeah, they are.
so they're doing Eternals. It's Angelina
They're
Jolie.
doing Master of Kung Fu as well.
Oh yeah.
They said like Kevin Feige was like, we're finally having an Asian character,
Oh
so we're going to do a Master of Kung Fu character.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think
Could've done
Doctor
that with
Doom might.
Daredevil, Okay.
I think the next few years will be just building like they had before, just building these base characters to get you invested in them, and then build a bigger story from that.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good plan. Yeah, I think that's a good.
I think
Thanks, Kevin.
I think we're
that's a good
basically
idea.
starting again,
Yeah.
Pretty
but
much.
with some like the TV show is the TV show stuff is probably inconsequential for anything. I
Yeah,
don't think it matters
I don't
much.
think it will lead
No.
to anything.
Because I think it's gonna be a lot of prequel stuff. Like my theory, like the Loki series is gonna be like, you know, in Endgame where there's a bit
Where
where
it disappears.
yeah, and
That's
he gets
literally just
like he accidentally gets the Tesseract and he disappears. Like that's where that's
literally just to
yeah.
set up
I
the
thought that was
show.
going to
That's
be a
what I
plot
think.
point in
No, I was
So
expecting, I was like,
I
oh,
thought-
we're gonna have to find Loki again, and I was like, fuck,
I
that's
thought
gonna be
that
a long film.
I thought the time travel stuff was going to be way more elongated,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, "Fuck, we got to jump through like dimensions to find Loki."
but
Cap is just like, oh yeah, we can go back in time
Yeah,
again.
it's like, oh,
The thing
Iron Man
is-
does.
I guess that
thing
makes
is-
sense.
now that they've set up that they have time travel, it does make quite an interesting thing for what they can do in the future. Like that can have consequences now. Just to bring us to a complete close, is you can't deny the numbers, the insane numbers that Endgame has right now.
Yeah. Wait.
So within, its
when-
first, within its first weekend, $1.2 billion.
So what day is this? This is the 5th of May. It came out 26th?
Yeah,
26th May.
So we're like a weekend,
April,
weekend 2 days.
So we're into the second week. We're just after the second weekend, or the end of the second weekend.
Yeah.
The first weekend, $1.2 billion.
Crazy. The highest opening weekend of all time.
That's 350 million domestic, which is about double Infinity War, which was the previous record
Yeah.
for highest grossing weekend, which is insane.
Yeah.
Like, not only did it beat it, it flew past it a million miles.
Yeah.
Now we're into 1.2 billion. As you know, we're beyond that now, and this film has now beat Titanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we had it before we were recording, and we checked the box office numbers just very quickly, and I was like, yeah, I checked last night, and it was like 5th or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we looked at it, and boom, it was second place.
Yeah. It's going to
It
be
just
Avatar.
jumped 3 places in one weekend.
So what this indicates is that, I mean, current box office projections is it looks like it's going to beat Hellboy at the box office.
Yeah, where the fuck was Hellboy? I watched it because I thought it was going to be in it.
I think Hellboy slipped to last in the box office in a week.
You know what? I also noticed Captain Marvel's also got to like number 2 back in the box office.
Fuck me.
So it's a crap back up.
It looks like Endgame is going to probably beat Avatar. It's on track to.
If
This is
Endgame,
its second-
Okay, so just to
It might
put
be
this
3
into
billion.
perspective, it almost definitely will.
yeah,
To put it into perspective, Titanic, which was previously the second number one by James Cameron,
Yep.
it took, to reach 2 billion, it took 5,233 days
well,
to reach
Titanic
2
was an
billion.
interesting one because like I
It
think
got re-released.
I think Titanic opened number 2, and it just consistently made like 40
Yeah,
million
the thing
every
about,
single
the thing
week
about Titanic
for like a
is
year.
it just had a longevity.
It was never like boom. It was just like
Yeah.
the most
Well,
consistent
okay,
movie ever.
So Titanic took 5,000 days, roughly, to reach 2 billion. After that, we've got Force Awakens, 54 days. So a month from that, nearly 2 months
Yeah, month
to
and a
reach
half.
54 days. Infinity War, 48 days, again, nearly about a month and a half, nearly. Avatar, 47 days,
It's actually quite
which
short,
is
isn't
the
it?
highest one right now. It's about 4.7 billion, I think.
Well, overall, Avatar's made 2.7 billion.
It's crazy that Avatar made so
Yeah,
much
it's
money.
like
2.7.
2.7. That's its
It
overall.
made so much money. Like
Endgame, after 11 days, so 2 weekends,
that's crazy.
is at 2.1 billion.
Yeah,
It's
so
mental.
that's going to gross 3 billion.
It's,
That's
yeah,
like
I mean,
current-
I'm planning to see it again.
Yeah. I'm planning to pirate it at some point tonight. No, I'm joking. I think it will probably go straight.
This film is going to like
If
reconfigure how cinema numbers are.
If
made.
Endgame can't beat Avatar, nothing can.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
this is literally it's been 11 years in the making.
Yeah.
If this can't make it, then nothing ever.
Well,
can.
I don't know. I don't think you're considering what happens if they make a sequel to Hellboy. I think that will make probably double.
I think you guys are forgetting Sonic the Hedgehog is not released yet.
Wait,
That's
can we
true.
talk about Sonic very briefly?
I think we gotta talk about Sonic next week. I feel like
okay, alright.
because then we gotta be like Endgame is the last bit.
Do you
of
think
the
we'll have the new redesign re-revealed?
No, that's going to take months.
It's kind
No,
of
You
Boy.
can't redesign a character in a week
Yeah, you can.
Unless they
get them
already
to
have
crunch.
unless they already have it, which there could be a possibility.
No, let's make them work 100-hour work weeks so I can see Sonic. I want to see Sonic. No, but really though,
I wonder what they're
honestly,
gonna do. I bet it's gotta be worse. What are they
Well, I
gonna
mean, the
do?
thing is, I saw like
Come on, let's
that
just talk
trailer.
about
That
Sonic.
trailer dropped, and I immediately saw like a bunch of things that were just like, I fixed the trailer,
Yeah.
and it's just
Yeah,
I
it's
immediate Photoshop stuff. This is how it should look.
And they're all shite. Like every one of them,
No,
like what
but-
I did, and it's just
no,
like they made his eyes a bit
But
bigger,
it's
but
still,
it's still
no,
rubbish.
but it still looks closer to the actual character of
It does.
Sonic. It's like the 2D character of Sonic went, well, that's not what we want.
But I think as well, it's like you can make something in 2D like one image, but to make it in motion is way harder. Like
there is 3D images of that Sonic.
no, but no. What I mean is like you can like people obviously take a single image and then Photoshop that,
Okay, yeah.
but they don't make their own 3D
Right,
model
I
and
know,
animate it.
But the point is, they know what it should probably look like.
yeah.
And
Well-
this company, who've been paid millions
Okay.
to do this.
Here's my take on the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. I don't mind that Sonic's on Earth. That's fine to me. John
Yeah.
Ralphio from Parks and Rec, I think is a great choice for Sonic. That's
Sure.
really funny. Jim Carrey's Eggman as a weird
That's my background on my phone.
as Jim Carrey's Eggman, and he's like this weird government agent who no one really likes. I think that's kind of funny.
What are you talking about?
Sonic the
What are you talking
Hedgehog.
about?
Sonic the Hedgehog was originally created by a committee. Sonic the Hedgehog now looks like absolute shite, and it does look like he was created by a committee. So really, I think they're just sticking to the roots. I think it's genius. And also, same writer as Detective Pikachu.
It just looks so.
Wait, what's the
really?
writer?
Same writer as Detective Pikachu.
That's
Makes a lot
bizarre.
of sense.
Because it looks so hacky. Like, I saw something, like, a still of Sonic was posted ages ago, and it was off.
Yeah.
It was off the billboard of Green Hill Zone, and someone commented like, I bet this film starts that police car. You'll see the inside of that. You'll see a police scanner, and it'll be some giant mouse powered thing. And you'll be like,
It's over.
whoa! That's exactly how the trailer starts.
I can't wait. I want a Netflix documentary where it talks about the making of it, and the documentary is just called Gotta Go Fast.
Wait, and do you think it's just filled with people complaining about
And it's like
depression?
It's like Jodorowsky's Dune, where some guy imagined the perfect Sonic movie, and he's like, "I want Orson Welles to play Eggman."
I think it'd be more like buddy
And
Apocalypse
Christopher
Now.
Nolan was going to produce. Hans Zimmer was going to do the soundtrack.
It's so bizarre that they've dropped this, and your theory is this is on purpose, but they dropped this trailer. 2 days later, they've said we're redesigning Sonic.
One of the worst
Which
trailers
is
I've ever seen.
Insane. Like if this film comes out in November,
Yeah.
so you imagine like marketing stuff gets planned way in advance.
Oh, yeah.
Merch gets planned way in advance.
Yep.
This is their title character.
What you bring up?
You have to imagine they've already got merch planned. They've already got all the marketing planned.
It's a very good point you bring up about
Where does all this
merchandise.
happening?
This is very clearly a merchandise film.
Yeah.
Where they're going to make a shit ton of toys and
Can
baseball
you just
caps and
imagine
everything.
get a t-shirt with that Sonic?
With human teeth. I imagine like a snapback and it's just like his mouth and the teeth and be like,
Fergus sent me a thing on Twitter and it was like, imagine Sonic caressing you with these hands and it's him touching the cassette.
it's
tape.
ugly CGI.
They don't even have the
fingers.
gloves. They've got
No.
those weird fucking.
It just has,
white,
like,
furry
He
hands.
looks
White
like an
fur
absolute
hat.
freaking freak.
But it's so bizarre that they just reversed completely. Like immediately, just like we're gonna resign it. That's so much work for a bunch of people.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of money.
You know what's really weird is in between nightmares I have about my personal life, I had a nightmare about Sonic 2 nights ago, and I'm pretty sure the nightmare was the design got re-released and
I
nobody
love
could get
the idea
light
where it's
cares
like,
about.
Dylan, you'll never amount to anything. Dylan, you've never achieved anything. Sonic the Hedgehog is going to be a bad movie. You know, ah! And then you wake up sweating.
I'm pretty sure I had a full-on nightmare about Sonic like 2 nights ago, and I woke up in a cold sweat at 4 a.m. or something.
Sonic the Hedgehog is going to be one of the most fascinating movies I'll ever
yeah.
watch in my life. Because Sonic has been... Loved Sonic since I was a kid.
Really?
I played so many of the games. And honestly, the fact the fascinating thing about Sonic the Hedgehog is for about maybe the last 10 years, there's been like 2 good games. But for some reason, they're still able to prolong this
Well, yeah,
franchise.
that's one of the weird things about this film is like I'm like, who's this film for?
This reminds me
Look at
of...
Fergus.
It's not like Sonic is hot right now.
You know what it
But
reminds
at
me
the
of?
same
You know what it reminds me of? You know what it reminds me of? Assassin's Creed is like, we're going to take a year off.
I'm the only one
So they
about
make
to
a
see the
movie. And then Sonic the Hedgehog's like, okay guys, we made a good movie, we made a bad movie. Time for the movie. No, we made some good games, we made a bad game. Time for the movie. They'll bring everyone back.
The weird thing is, I have this argument of like, who's this film for?
No, sorry.
It's not like Sonic's on top right now. But then I think the same thing is like, Detective Pikachu. Like that's not hot right now.
No.
But they're still making that film. I'm
well,
damn excited for that
well,
film.
At least,
Pokemon Go
at
come
least,
out,
at least
2016.
Pokemon has still been like a consistently good franchise. It's still been a very franchise with consistently good odds.
got this
Sonic
image
is
now.
just like
Shite, mostly.
Sonic fans are just people are like where it's just like maybe it'll be good better one day. Like, and then you get one good game, and you're like, oh, I remember what it was like. Like, I remember playing Sonic Mania, which was like they did the retro revival of it, 2D.
Wasn't
And I would-
Generations a good one?
Generations was great. I was, like basically the last few games were Generation and Sonic Mania.
And Color. Sonic Color.
Sonic Colors was okay, but then they released Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces came out the same
Yeah,
year.
it's
Where
terrible.
Sonic Forces was where Sonic was trapped in a prison and tortured for 4 years.
And that's where we come into the film.
I hope that's the plot of the film.
And you made your own character, and yeah, it was just
I
it's terrible. I
I've
didn't
got
play
this
it.
image now of the marketing team sitting around watching Assassin's Creed thinking, oh yeah,
This is how
Now
you do
we
it.
got
This is
it.
how you do the video game movie.
that's how you do it. Right,
No,
that
it's
ends
gonna
our
be so
Sonic
fun.
discussion. There's nothing to say. The film's going to be shite. If anyone,
Why-
the thing is I'm
Gangs
gonna,
of Paradise, it was great.
doesn't
Gangs of
worry.
Paradise.
That trailer's so bizarre. Like the film, like it has the song playing, Gangs of Paradise, and then it, as every trailer does, it cuts in with like a line of dialogue.
Yeah, yeah.
But there'll be like 2 seconds, and it'll cut in with back Gangs of Paradise. There'll be 2 seconds. They'll go back to a beat and be like, "This is a funny scene." We cut back to that scene. We're going audience for that. We cut back for that, and then again another 2 seconds, Gangs of Paradise. You're like, "What's happening right now?"
Yeah, yeah.
He's just like, "Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do." What's happening?
It's like the trailer editors didn't understand how to edit a trailer.
Oh, you know what? You know what the final film's gonna be like? It's gonna be like the final act, and it's like it's gonna be Sonic. He's like running around,
Does he look
and then like
dramatic?
suddenly it comes like Gangsta's Paradise starts building, and it's like do do do, and he's like he starts spin dashing. He's going so fast, he's breaking the Sonic barrier, and like he jumps up, and it's like living in it, and then he goes time to beat you, Eggman, like and then he slams in, beats him, and then it's like Gangsta's Paradise. That's gonna be the.
I'm pretty sure you're
That's
right.
gonna be the end of the movie.
Did
And
you write
then-
this film?
Oh fuck! I can't wait for this movie. It's gonna
Oh, I'm gonna see it. We're gonna see it, right?
He's got a November release.
November for Oscar season, baby.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. We're not delaying it, baby. Sonic,
It's gonna
Sonic
be
wants an Oscar.
it's gonna be November for the Oscars, and then January for the BAFTAs in Britain.
It's gonna open up against all these horror movies, and you just got Sonic and the Hedgehog.
Gotta go fast.
And you got portals that turn into rings, or rings that turn into. Did you not love the Paramount logo when it was rings? And I was
Yeah.
like, sign of quality.
Oh no, that's rings. I'm sorry. You go like that.
When I saw that, I was like, that's a sign of quality. I thought that's some quality assurance to them. It's one of those trailers where I watched it on my own in my house. I was just sitting there with my legs up.
So I went
Like
I went to work the next day, and like I worked with, he lived in Spain for like 6 weeks, and he was telling me like he goes on Facebook and all like adverts have turned to Spanish. So he was like, it's even weirder. He was like, watch the Sonic trailer. It's in Spanish on my Facebook. We watched it.
Well, I remember, you guys sent me the trailer, and I was in Endgame. You gotta come closer. And I was in Endgame, and I was watching the like little like bit in my timeline. I was watching it, and it's a bit like Sonic's design comes up, and he's like meow, you know, pretend to be a fucking cat. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, I'm not using my mobile data to watch this.
They even break the rules of Sonic in the trailer, where it's like at the start he's like, oh, I can't dodge a dart. But then
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, all the missiles stop, and then he's like, I can freeze time now.
like, "Oh,
and you're like, hang on a minute. It's like Sonic. Like I thought, Sonic just runs fast.
Yeah.
That's all Sonic does. He just runs fast. He doesn't slow time down. He's not
No.
Quicksilver.
Lawrence, you're forgetting one thing. Do you not see over the hedge with a really hyperactive squirrel? He's
No, I-
running so fast
No, I
that
haven't.
time slows down.
I remember I was watching the trailer. I kicked my legs up. I was writing one of my essays. And I need a break. And this trailer came on. I put it on. I'm just like, it was one of those like white guy, I'm superior than you moments where the trailer came on and Sonic runs past the car, and I was like, that looks like fucking shite. Like the first shot, it looks terrible. The CG, everything is composited wrong. I don't feel any sympathy for the people that have made this movie. Like, I feel bad for the VFX guys, obviously, because those guys are getting abused. But the studio, this movie is a cash grab. This movie can get to fuck.
Is it though? But
Is it though?
Who's that Crash Grab for?
That's a good point. But this is the thing. They made an emoji movie. You know, this is the thing. It's just like you saw opening day.
You know what, guys? I think we're forgetting. We're entering the new age of Renaissance video game movies because Minecraft is coming out 2021.
Who's directing Minecraft?
I don't know.
It
George
was
Johnson.
It
It
was
was-
Rob McAvaney, but
McAvaney? Rob McElhenney.
I'm pretty sure it's Rob.
McElhenney.
Rob McElhenney.
Anyway, Rob
No,
Mac
hey,
from Always
Rob.
But it got announced recently where it's like, I think it's 2021 or
It's not him
2022.
anymore. It's not him anymore.
No, it's not him anymore.
Yeah. They just,
Who directed Sonic?
I don't know.
Oh, fuck, who was
Who
it? I
gives
can't
a
remember.
fuck? Who knows who directed Sonic the Hedgehog?
Anthony and Joe Russo.
Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce.
Christopher
Straight from
Nolan.
Aladdin. My New Blue Boy.
Christopher Nolan.
Do you mean, it's not Guy Pearce, he's the fucking fire breather in Iron Man 3.
Right, guys.
Guy
Fieri.
Do you know what's interesting? It's trending in Russia.
The
right
guy
now.
who directed Rock and Roller.
Who's in Aladdin?
And Sherlock Holmes.
Who's in Aladdin?
It's I know
Guy
who you
Ritchie
mean.
directed-
Guy Ritchie.
Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie.
Fucking monk. Oh.
So it's gonna,
I knew they called you a mong as well. It's called-
Guy Ritchie's gonna come and be like,
Firstly,
oh.
it's got a new poster.
It's a great for audio
Well,
podcast.
this is like I was looking.
Oh
at
shit, that's Speed Highway.
Shut up, Fergus.
That's
You're
Speed
fucking-
Highway for
Yeah,
the
that's
games.
not. That's
Jeff
not the poster.
Fowler, and it's his directorial debut.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've
I
got to
was-
mention something at the end of the trailer. It looks like Robotnik. He gets into his original design with the big stash, and it
Shut
seems
up.
to be like he's
Shut
in
up.
Mushroom Hill Zone, which is
Right.
very interesting because that's when Knuckles was introduced.
Shut up. You can look at that first poster, right, for Sonic, and it's clear they didn't know what the film was yet.
Yep.
And they have a poster, and it's just sort of a dark silhouette of Sonic,
Oh yeah.
but it's clearly normal Sonic.
He's like this.
It's normal Sonic because he's short. It's got like
Is
short and spiky. Look at the original poster. It is the normal Sonic, and then they made the film, and they made whatever the fuck he is.
Oh, there's a higher res of it. There's a higher res.
No, not that fucking. That's a fucking.
Well, there's because that looks like
That looks alright.
that looks like a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. You would be like, oh okay. But there's ones where it's like it's him and he's running with his arms back, and it's a completely different design
Yeah.
than what we actually have in the trailer.
That, can I just say that, by the way, that's composited incorrectly in Wikipedia there. You can see the composite's wrong.
All right.
But also, can I just say, firstly, the director, Jeff Fowler, what do you think, how many years ago do you think his last credit was on anything?
2013.
So his last credit was 10 years ago
Well,
on Where the Wild Things Are, and he did development.
This poster.
Yeah, that's what I'm on
So
about.
that is the original poster. When this
Yeah.
film was first announced, that was the original poster.
It's the one where it's
And
like a blue. It's a silhouette with a blue light behind Sonic.
Yeah,
You can't
that's
see his
alright.
But
features.
it's very clearly the original Sonic, like the normal image of Sonic. It's the short, the giant
Where the
spiky
Wild
hair.
Things Are is a great movie.
But there's one
And
where it's
they
like elite.
immediately get rid of that in this poster.
But there's one
like-
where it's like,
He's got the three spikes there. If you see that,
yeah.
and
It
then
looks.
like it's clear they didn't know what was.
It's clearly a bit off.
They
Oh
didn't
shit.
know what they were making.
Yeah, and then this one. That's a different design.
Yeah.
Like
That's the one from the trailer.
basically what you need
Yeah.
to do is go on Sonic the Hedgehog movie and then just click images and you'll see there's just it's very clearly differing designs for every single release, from the silhouette poster to the just whatever, where it's like him in the right side.
I love that the top of every poster is from the producer of Fast and Furious.
Well, because it's
Like
Fast.
who? It's James Wan.
Oh, that mark of quality, James Bond.
From Aquaman to Sonic the Hedgehog. It's not though, is it? It can't be James
No, it's
Wan.
not James Wan. It's not James
No,
Wan.
it's
It's
not.
gonna be Ted Binkle or something.
Is it the studio? What's the studio? Is this Paramount?
It's gonna be like
This is Paramount.
it's Paramount. So it's gonna be.
I tweeted that this is exactly what happened with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. It's exactly what happened. Remember when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie came out and the poster and the
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles looked like fucking the Goobers from Super Mario
Hey,
Bros.
hey. When the world needs a hero,
Is that the poster? Is that the tagline?
think
Hey.
fast.
That's not the tagline, is it? When the world
Well,
needs
you
a hero,
think
think
When the
fast.
world needs a hero, think fast.
That doesn't even make any sense. Those are two sentences.
Dylan, think fast.